Welcome to Mob Rules, episode 78, brought to you by the STC Reclamation Commission, recovering lost Imperium technology since M3099.001. Got paper? Give it to us, the STC Reclamation Society, for a better Imperium today. The STC Reclamation Society does not guarantee not turning you into a servitor upon arrival to Mars.
Welcome to Mob Rules. It's crisp. Yeah, that's crisp. That's American made PBR. Welcome to Mob Rules. Brought to you apparently by the STC Reclamation Commission today. Which, God, I love those guys.
They really do.
They really do amazing work.
My favorite thing that they've recovered recently was the Easy Bake Oven.
I think if like the dark imperial future was where we're heading, I'm gonna get like a little vault and put like my son's electric scooter instruction manual on it, just so in the like 41st millennium some tech priest finds this manual for an electric scooter and just gets like fucking robot boner for 4 hours.
Well, yeah, but why does your son have an electric scooter?
Oh, it was his birthday last week.
I mean, why couldn't he just have a regular scooter? I mean, he's a kid.
This is America.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm sorry, you walk places? Welcome to Mob Rules, episode 79? 79. Yeah, sure.
78.
78. Yeah, Mob Rules
whatever.
78. Oh, yeah, we wrote it down on a piece of paper and everything.
Yeah.
Mob Rules 78. I am John, joined by
Danny.
Oh, and Dave.
And Dave trying to alpha the whole fucking thing by breaking the order.
I was trying
and
to beta
looking
it.
at Danny.
Well, you know what? I'm up for it. Just throw me under the bus, Dave. It's cool, dude.
It's fun.
Like, what a son of a bitch.
I almost said Danny in order to pay homage to your ending last episode.
Oh, I should have let you. That would have been
Yeah.
fair. But my Dave impression, nobody said anything about it.
No, it's pretty spot on.
Yeah, I thought I was still there, actually.
Right.
I was like, whoa.
But believe me, we realized you weren't. Today we're talking a little bit about Imperial Knights. It's been 3 episodes since Ted's gone, so I figured it was time we start rehashing old topics again.
Well, there's only so many topics we can
Yeah,
hash.
so we're just going to start again. So don't go back and listen to Mob Rules 23, 24, early ones. Who remembers? But new codex came out last week. Is available for sale now, and is pretty much giving them like a fully flushed, really scary army. So
It's
we're going to
giving
go
me a fully fleshed, really scary
Or
boner. Just,
dude. You're an armiger at best.
I'm a
brain's
Marines.
Yeah, you got 2 tiny fucking poles.
I've got 4 of them. All right. Sexy.
But yeah, before we get into that, there's a few other things we want to kind of get into here, including kind of what have we been up to. How has everyone's Warhammer fortnight been? Everyone's Warhammer 2 weeks.
I feel like I've just been building models. It's been insane.
Oh, I have a model for you, by the way.
Oh.
I have an assembled Harlequin.
Shit, I did say I was going to do a checkered pattern, didn't I?
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Because I built one too many. And
In 8 months, look for a checkered Harlequin pattern when Harlequins are no longer relevant.
oh no, I played them. They're going to be relevant for
Yeah.
a while.
It's going to be awesome. So awesome. I've been up to just building stuff. Bought a ticket to LVO 2019. So excited about that. Got the taking my buddy Cody, going down with a large group from Alaska. It looks like we got going on.
3rd year in a row, we're sending down like at least 15 people. Looks like from Alaska.
Gonna be so much
Sounds
fun.
about right.
Yeah.
Can't wait to go. Gonna do the night joust on Friday night. Couldn't get tickets to the championship.
They
because
sold
it's
out in 2 days.
Over 500 tickets.
I think
Over 500 tickets.
Didn't they say it was like 512?
Yeah,
was
so the
actual
tournament
amount?
is for 512. I don't know if they oversold. I'd be surprised if they did. But I'm sure the waiting list is probably 50 or 60 people now.
Easily. And, since I couldn't get that, and I'm taking Cody, who's a newbie, we've decided we're going to do the doubles tournament on Sunday instead.
I can just see Dave at the checkout hitting refresh, and then all of a sudden, like, oh no, the championship sold out. Guess I'll go do this casual event.
It's not that casual.
The ticket showed up. Oh, my credit card. Where is it?
I did. I will admit, I wasn't looking. I wanted to play in the championship, but at the same time, I wanted to.
I feel you would
take,
literally have no fun.
I think I would have fun, actually, because I do actually know how to build a competitive army, thanks to having access to Danny's brain on a regular basis these days.
It's actually a really handy thing to have.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of nice.
Well, thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Like fucking goddamn Rain Man for Warhammers.
I remember when we sat down, we were like, who should we get to fill Ted's chair? And we were like, well, who's going to be funny? Well, this guy's funny, and this guy's good, knows a lot about 40K. What if we got Danny? And then we could just always get him to help us make lists.
Yeah.
That seems like a pretty valid way to go. Like,
we ignored everything else, but he'll give us lists.
The doubles tournament, which is supposedly mostly friendly, has got a 50% hobby score built in.
Oh, cool.
And so, if I can't take the tournament by winning, because I'm not going to bring good stuff, I'm definitely going to take it by doing by scoring 100%, 50% of the time.
I think you can do both things.
Yeah, you can do pretty well. You'd be surprised, when we travel. Like I travel outside, like I crap on myself a lot for man, I'm not super good up here, and then do really well in the lower 48. It's Alaska's a bizarre.
Yeah, you took third in the friendly you're in, right?
So interesting thing, we have here in the state, we have 3 of the top 50 ITC players.
Yep.
So actually, I'm 35 and I'm the lowest person from Alaska. So
stop telling people that. I've been bragging about how good you are.
Well, I'm lower than Danny's.
Well, yeah, yeah, but I've been selling.
Nobody's
Danny.
bragging about you.
Yeah, I was like, hey guys, do you see that John's at 4,200 out of 50?
I mean, I'm 122nd for Aldari. Just putting that out there.
Hey, you know what?
That's good, I guess.
I brag about you, John.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It's like I tell one of the guys up here. I don't know. It was like, there's only one direction for you to go, buddy. There's only one direction for me to go.
Down.
But anyway.
But yeah, so I've been working on my doubles list. I built up a bunch of Dark Angel intercessors. After weighing Danny's advice about what I should bring and shouldn't bring, I decided to go ahead and do whatever the hell I wanted instead.
Yep.
So
good plan.
Yeah. I've got a Dark Angel battalion with 3 intercessor squads, some Hellblasters, 2 lieutenants, and an ancient because plasma bomb. Then 2 Helverine shooting knights.
Ooh.
Which I'm running as house.
No, it's pronounced
Hotshroud.
Helverine.
No,
it's pronounced Helverine.
Yeah, Helverine.
No.
Yeah.
No, Helverine.
So
hovering.
Yes, hovering.
Yes, hovering knights.
Yes, hovering knights. Yes, they have flies. Hawkshroud. How's Hawkshroud? Oh, some amazing stuff. And we'll get into that, I'm sure.
Jumpshroud?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a terrible joke. Thank you.
God. And we got completely Deathwatch on the other side for his 1,000 points.
Yeah, it's a good combo.
It is. Unfortunately, it's all aggressors. So.
You son of a bitch.
So he's gonna.
It's an early soundboard, but my entire experience with Deathwatch has literally just been aggressors.
Yeah.
And they can go eat a flying bag of dicks.
I think there's something
You're
sexy
welcome.
about deep striking a bunch of aggressors in the back line.
Maybe if you get it done 2 games in a row.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh no. I've also been building some Ideneth for Tale of Warlords that I'm failing terribly at.
Oh, the Deepkin? You building
yeah.
up some fish boys? Because I remember you said you were doing your little sharks and stuff like that. Was all mounted?
It's all cavalry, yeah.
I think
all
I've
mounted.
seen 3 eels. Does that sound right?
They're fully built,
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
but all 7 models are fully built.
Oh,
but
okay.
That's as far as I
Nice.
have made it, because then I was like, LVO doubles, that's in 9 months. I need to think about that right now.
Well, I mean, kind of.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to. That and spending money, making drives for ice cream. I mean, stuff I can't get in Anchorage. Models.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked up on that. It just took me a second.
So,
Danny, what you been up to? You've been a busy little boy.
I've been fairly busy. Been building models, been building a lot of lists lately. Now that Knights are out, I think Knights are going to be a good contender in the current meta, and we'll have to see what ends up happening with with that Codex being in the mix. Their stratagems are really, really good, and so making sure you have a stratagem battery for that army is going to be really important. But we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah.
So I built. Let's see here. I built a gallant today, or Gallant, whatever, however
It's
you want to
pronounced
say it.
Gallant.
Well, yeah, maybe in
Is it
like
Gallant?
Scotland or whatever.
No, Gallant.
Okay. Gallant.
So
Yes,
my
got
knight
it.
Gallant, he's
No,
he's-
Gallant.
So I built him today. Pretty stock standard. I think that those guys are pretty cheap and pretty good, so I'm going to be taking some of those. I got to, let's see here. Oh, I played in the last of the season Ultramar Cup.
Oh, yeah. How'd that go?
That was before.
That was pretty fun. I took an all Primaris Marine list with a repulsor.
So you won then.
Well,
Well, yeah.
and I took and a Night Warden with the old point values because I wanted to see how cool knights are because I hadn't played with one in this edition yet. Yeah, it turns out they're pretty cool. So I won that event. Played some pretty stiff competition. But yeah, it was kind of a real basic list, like 3 units of 5 intercessors, a captain, a Primaris captain, a Primaris lieutenant, a repulsor, 4 aggressors, and the Night Warden. So super small list, like for 1,500 points, but
Sounds perfect.
yeah.
Sounds like the perfect list.
I mean, when it's well piloted, you can really win some events with it, I think.
Ouch. Hey,
Something.
I've taken third with almost that same list minus the Gallant.
Yeah.
Yeah, that extra, those
I
two
didn't take.
redemptors really helped.
I didn't. Yeah, right. It's much better to take something good. So, so yeah, I've been building that. I got to play a game with the Knights book after it kind of got leaked last week too, against our friend Nate. So that was really fun.
Oh, that poor guy.
I know. Yeah, those Knights, they're pretty brutal. So yeah, I'm liking them a lot. But we'll talk about Knights in a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm going a little Knight crazy.
How do you feel about the Helverines?
No. Helverines.
No, Helverins. Helverons? Is it Helverons?
No, it's like that movie Red Dawn, except for instead of Wolverines, it's Helverines.
Okay. I
Yeah.
see.
Oh, man, there's a reference that
Yeah.
3% of our audience will get.
I get it. I've seen that movie. Well, wait, did they?
Well, I'm
do
gonna
it-
need you to listen to this episode then, Danny.
Did I? I don't know. I did not see the new one. Have you guys seen the new?
No, why would you see the new one? It's like
Yeah, that sounds. It seems.
Yeah, it seems
not
awful.
it's
good.
like seeing a new Predator. That'd be stupid.
Dude,
no, the
you
new
know
Predator
what?
looks good.
You go and shove that straight up your ass, Dave, because that's going to be a great movie.
That's going to be amazing. I'm going to agree with Danny on that one.
Okay, yeah, so I'm done. How about you, John? What have you been up to,
I've
buddy?
been playing a lot.
Yeah.
Like, I played 3 games in the last 2 weeks, which for me is like 3 games more than I usually play in a 2-week period.
That's a record.
I keep seeing you asking for games, and I'm like, oh man, I totally want to play. And then like 6 people jump on, like, oh, I'll play you, John. And I
Or
was
like,
oh,
or like 1.
but I was beat,
but-
John.
That's why I'm saying I brag about knowing John because John's such a good guy.
Yeah. John plays games. That's what he does.
John is really good at losing to people, which makes people feel good about themselves.
Well, so I've played 2 kind of itinerations of my list in the past couple of weeks. I played my final kind of version, like my final list with the links against Danny about 2 weeks ago here.
Right?
And then that was the last time I've used the links. I mean, it's super cool, and it's a great Forge World unit, but it's 400 points, and like in my game against Danny, it died round 1 before it did anything. So right away, I'm like, oh, so I'm at 400 point disadvantage right now.
That was a pretty slick seize the initiative, though, on my part. So-
Oh, yeah, and he sees the initiative on it as well. So it was, yeah. But it was a great game. Like I said, I've kind of decided that I'm going to kind of play more and play more competitively and kind of get good, as the saying says. So I've been trying to find out kind of higher quality opponents. Like with not with the aim of to lose, but necessarily I'm going to learn more in defeat than I would in victory. Which also turns out to be a lie, actually, as we'll go into here. But I played Danny. I learned lots. But I played Danny
I mean,
and
let's
his...
say it's not a quality
Yeah.
opponent. Like,
Yeah.
in a fun sense.
That's right. But his Death Watch Imperial Guard list he was kicking about before all the Night Leagues come out. He was like, ooh, Knights.
Now I just have all 3.
And it was brutal. It was a super close game, though.
It was.
In the end. I think we ended, 27-23
Yeah.
in ITC scoring or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. It was pretty close, within just a few points.
Within just a few points. But Danny took
It sounds like if you hadn't gotten seized on, you probably would have beaten Danny, and then been able to retire a
no.
world champion.
No, I don't think the I don't think the links would have done that much.
Yeah.
It would have killed some stuff for sure.
We're taking out some troops. But yeah, it would have done some damage to some Primaris, but I don't think it would have made that huge of a difference to the way the overall game played. The way it kind of works for Danny's list he played at the time was he had 2 units of 5 intercessors with 5 aggressors for Death Watch. Mm-hmm. And then was it a Watch Captain?
Watchmaster.
Well, Watchmaster. And they were kind of in Deep Strike. And then the rest of the stuff was pretty much just Guard. That was kind of right at the other end of the table. So he was shooting the shit out of me with kind of Guard and missile weapons and all this other stuff. And as I'm moving forward, he kind of drops behind me with intercessors and aggressors and just I'm going to roll 18,000 shots at you. So
with 3 rolls.
Yeah.
I'd feel bad about that, but yay!
Well, it's a super solid tactic, and like I said, when you all my stuff's Alatok, so it's all 6s to hit sometimes, or 4 or 5s to hit. But when you're rolling 20,000 dice and you're re-rolling 18,000 dice, then it doesn't really matter what it is to hit. As soon as you hit an elf, it's toughness 3. It's going down pretty easily. But I learned a lot in that game by kind of playing to the mission and not going to get demoralized by the fact that my stuff was getting wiped off the table at an alarming rate.
If there's ever an example of playing to the mission that you can follow at the Ultramar Cup that you were at, Danny, I was there for a brief period of time, and I witnessed an all Carnifex list beat Dark Angel or Dark Eldar.
Oh yeah, sure.
Mm-hmm. Because the Carnifex guy played to the mission and got rid of all of the ground troops of the Dark Eldar guy, so he couldn't.
Well, he had
secure any
some
points.
ground troops left, but not enough to really.
But he couldn't. He couldn't hold the objectives, so therefore he couldn't win the game.
Right,
Yeah.
it was like a progressive scoring mission. So
Yeah.
for each turn you stayed on the objective, you got some points. And
Yeah.
then so because he was able to stay on the objectives and the Dark Eldar player didn't want to go close to the Carnifexes, he was just able to pile up enough points where it didn't matter anymore.
Yeah.
So I mean, and that's key for a lot of situations. If you really do just play to the mission, sometimes you can have a rampaging Baneblade just wrecking your tits off, and as long as you stay on point doing what you need to do, you can still win the
You
game.
get a $6 gift voucher from GW for increased Baneblade sales. Isn't that right, Dave?
I wish I'd gotten a $6 gift voucher. I got a hearty handshake and a don't come back.
Yeah.
but that was just immigration in the UK.
Yeah.
But no, so the
friendly
nice thing,
over there.
kind of looking at it, being okay, crap, I have 10 aggressors in my back lines. I have this stuff here. And then he's like, wait a second, I'm Eldar. I can move at least 12 inches a turn. And they only have an 18-inch range. So my plan was just move away from the aggressors.
Tactically advance opposite the aggressors.
No, they ran away.
Oh,
Shooting is
straight
they
up
go.
retreat. Got it. Okay.
But yeah, so that ended with kind of a loss. But like I said, the lessons I got from that were super good. Like I said, I appreciate I didn't get demoralized at all when stuff started dying. Kind of just trying to focus on that. So I followed up with playing against someone else the week after with a Gulliman gunline mixed with
Who was that?
it was a local guy called Michael. And he
okay.
had Gulliman, a bunch of Primaris intercessors, a couple Devastator squads, and then mixed in with Death Watch. And I got screwed over hard on board positioning because the Death Watch has that stratagem where if you an Eldar thing with the fly keyword comes within 12 inches of you, you can shoot the crap out of it. And I just messed up on positioning it a few times and got really hit hard. The other thing that I kind of learned from that game is there was about 5 or 6 squads or different units in one crater. And instead of kind of asking, hey, can you clarify which unit is which and
sure.
where one ends and another begins, I assumed, okay, that's a unit, that's a unit, that's a unit. So when I'm putting fire in, I'm like, oh no, that was this unit. I'm like, crap, okay, so this guy's still here. But this was the first one I brought in the clowns, which was super fun. I brought in some more
you
clowns.
brought in the what?
More clowns. Oh, yeah, that's right.
The what? What are clowns?
Oh yeah, I brought in more clowns.
Oh.
With clown cars.
Ah.
So I brought in 2 troops of Harlequins in Skyweavers. Or Starweavers, sorry. And kind of started trying to use those guys instead of the instead of the links. So I replaced the links with kind of more troops.
And how do they do? Like, what do they kill? What kind of stuff do they?
Oh man, so Danny, you know, playing me that I go a little too aggressive.
You can be a little bit, aggressive
Gung
is a
ho,
word.
a little aggressive.
Sure.
Harlequins,
Foolhardy.
I was gonna say, Danny just shot me a look that said aggressive isn't the way to describe it. So
I can be pretty stupid moving stuff up the table. Sometimes.
There it is. Okay.
So I moved the Starweavers like straight up the table. I'm like, yeah, let's go. These guys have like 4 attacks each in combat. Yeah, and like I charge them in. I'm like, woo, 4 attacks each, hitting on 3s, and woo, a wounding on 5s.
Uh-oh.
And then like,
But how did explosive knife vest boy do?
I made a tiny tactical error.
No, come on.
So instead of charging him into his largest unit, as was my plan, I charged him at Gulliman.
Oh Lord.
And he did a mortal wound to Gulliman.
Oh,
one?
Yeah.
Well, just one.
No, that's like a moral victory.
And then he got pulped.
In
Pretty hard.
one round of combat.
Yes.
Did
All
he
right.
roll a bunch of 6s?
Yeah. He got pulped pretty quickly. So I put on, because what I'm doing now, as well as after every game, I kind of make like little notes to myself about kind of things not to do or things to do next time.
Yep.
And one of them was, do not charge squishy elves at Gulliman.
I don't know. That
Who'd
sounds,
have
sounds like
thought
a
it,
solid
right?
plan. I mean,
if you can get him with like a bunch of like Harlequin kisses or something like that, that's about the best weapon against him. I think.
Sure.
probably. Yeah.
But one solitaire.
Yeah, it's probably not enough.
It's probably not enough. So
Solitaire had a hope and a dream.
that game ended 24-all. It was a draw. It was my
Oh.
first ITC draw, and I was like, and it was really crucial. Like the last turn, he had the last turn, and he had 2 units that could shoot at my unit of rangers. I used my very last command point, so he's hitting on 6s because they're in like ruins. And with one
Hate
unit,
that command. Hate that stratagem so much.
with one unit, he killed 2 rangers, and I strategically, perfectly pulled the 2 rangers from the other side, meaning his other unit was now out of range of my rangers.
Yeah. It's not the best.
So that stopped me. That one move stopped him from getting 1 point for kill more.
Nice.
And I ended up tying that game. So like I was like at the end, I was like, oh, come on, just roll your fucking dice. I don't care. Just roll your dice. Let's go. So that was super cool. And like I said, the Harlequins, they didn't do as well as I thought they were going to do, but at the same time, they're probably not designed to be flung up the table as quickly as possible. Well, in my build.
It depends.
Yeah, like in my build. So last night I played against Nate and his Tau, because I've been giving him crap for like months. But no, dude, your codex isn't terrible. There's builds there. There's builds there. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah, let's play. So we played. And this time I kept my Harlequins in the backfield. So I had one squad that held one objective. Starweaver kind of moved off to the side to kind of deny deep strike area. And then like another squad held the other objective. And then the Starweaver kind of moved up for recon.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they did much better kind of as backfield objectives. Backfield objective holding.
The Harlequins did?
Yeah. And then the nice thing about it as well, because I took the behind enemy lines secondary, where you have like 2 units behind or in the deployment zone, right?
Within 12 inches of their back.
Within 12 inches of their backfield. If I freed up 2 Starweavers that can move like 22 inches a turn,
Yep, that's true.
and I just held them in my backfield, and then that way I can move them up and score that. So I had like
that's
these things
smart.
that could jump up there. So that was kind of my plan for that. And then, unfortunately, Tau, as soon as you hit any kind of movement modifiers on them or hit modifiers on them,
Yeah.
collapse. And there's really...
They have a tough time with that. I can understand why it feels like they have it.
Completely off topic because I know we're still on topic, but on topic for the episode. It just feels like honestly that of all of the codexes that have been released, the Tau really does kind of feel the weakest. You know, it doesn't as each new codex came out, you got like major boners like Harlequins. You know, came out. We were good. Craft World came out. It
Well, the
felt
thing
good.
with Harlequins is
just
they're good when used in conjunction with Craft World, or when used in conjunction with Dracare. Like Custodes are good when used in conjunction with like all of like the ones that are super powerful to me have been good when used in conjunction with something else.
Yeah, but Tau can't be used in conjunction
Right,
with anything.
which is
but
where they
Tau.
suffer from.
And that's kind of where all
So
the non-Eldari Xenos races fall down.
I've kind of got this bad feeling for the Orc Codex is coming that it's going to just be the same thing.
Oh, no, it's going to be amazing. It will literally be the complete opposite.
So,
But I feel bad like when I'm playing against Nate, and he goes to shoot at one of my flyers, and I can put minuses on my flyer to the point where he can't even roll dice. Because he's 4 to hit, -1 for flyer,
right.
-1 for Alatalk.
Yeah, I think a 6 to hit for shooting should always hit, like, regardless.
Yeah.
And like it just, he got like super down throughout like the whole game because he's just like rolling stuff. And like what I like my solitaire, you know, I do the thing where I you know, Segra or Kegros Path, and then dream move him, so he's like moving and he's like right there, and like just being able to tie up a third of his army with one model because I got 4 units into combat with this one guy, and then he kept rolling ones. So I think the mirror suit did like 6 mortal wounds in the first round of combat.
Oh,
Wow.
So yeah, because he rolled a 1 into another 1, and then he rolled. It was a bunch of like really good dice rolls on my part too. The Harlequins, like I said, they did really well, kind of hanging out in the backfield because they're dangerous. That you don't want to charge them without a plan.
Right.
But at the same time, like for me, I don't want to kind of rush them up the field. So I ended up 32-19 winning that one. It was pretty thing, and unfortunately, I ended up with Nate being like, I think I'm going to shut my top for a while because they're just not fun. And I feel because like throughout the game, he wasn't having fun with them anymore.
Well, yeah, and I understand that. Like, if you're not having fun with it, then it's okay to put that stuff down.
I mean, that goes for the same for any army, though. You know, that's honestly, while I have a winning record with Primaris only in tournaments, you know, and I've never actually won a tournament, but I've always had fun playing them no matter what. I can't see myself shelving them. They're not the most OP army ever. You know, I could easily add other stuff in. Like I could do a guard battalion for a ton of CP and some tanks and stuff, but it just doesn't appeal to me. You know, and that's part of the game is playing something you love. So I get shelving something.
I feel the only way you're really going to fix Tau is with kind of massive price drops.
I don't know. The battle suits need to be point effective.
Yeah, and they're
those,
just not.
Yeah, those things need to go down in points by a bit. And the Fire Warriors are about as cheap as you can make them. I think that they're still pretty good.
Yeah.
But I agree. I think the problem doesn't necessarily lie within Tau. I think it lies more within the negative to hit modifiers that can so easily be stacked.
Yeah. But
anyway,
that's another discussion for another day.
that
I
is.
mean, we could spend a whole episode just talking about.
Oh, and I painted a Star Weaver and I painted a squad of Harlequins and I used the little.
Did you?
I did, and I used the kind of the 60s X-Men, like a reverse X-Men color scheme. So they have like yellow sleeves and pants and like a blue torso.
oh, cool.
So I was happy.
Are you going to check them?
Oh God, no! I tried to do like one panel of one part of a Star Weaver, and I'm like, I'm just going to do a bunch of splotches. So I did like just a bunch of lines.
Okay.
I like how it looks. Keep it simple.
A guy that I follow on Twitter actually is doing a Yvraine converted into Yvraine, right? She's the female.
She's the chick
cat
with the
lady.
long
Yeah,
dress.
the long dress.
Cat lady.
The cat lady.
Like that.
The
Cat lady.
Yeah, as some sort of Harlequin leader model. But what he did actually was cut out a bunch of sticky squares and stuck them to them, and then painted and pulled them back off. So
That's
I mean,
what you did
checkers
with masking material. That's the way to do it.
I was like, did you paint those? Because they don't
really-
look uniform enough for a stencil.
I really don't want to make 18,000 like 1 millimeter checkers.
So the way you do it is you get like you know how that material comes in like a strip.
Yeah.
You just take scissors and like chop the little thing, like just go along it like
Yeah.
uniform. I don't know.
The,
I don't
the,
think that's
the
that
Tamiya
bad.
masking tape, I think is what it is, right?
Oh,
The
that's
Tamiya.
yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah.
So yeah, I painted. I assembled like 12 Harlequins and 2 Star Weavers, and I painted a Star Weaver and a Harlequin. I'm like halfway done painting one of my my Ghost Jets.
Sweet.
Yeah, I got a lot of hobbying done this week. Like I said, I'm fairly certain I have like a really good bones of a list. I'm still on the... See, okay, here's the shitty thing. I'm on the bubble about the Dire Adventures. I'm like, well, I really like them and they're super effective. I feel I can put other stuff in that would be more effective. But then I get Azerman into combat.
I mean,
And every time I get Azerman into combat, and he
dies.
Bitch slaps everybody.
really?
He's really good.
He's so good. So his sword...
That's funny.
Hits
I don't
on
remember that being the case in our game. I believe a Redemptor turned him into pulp.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, when you charge the wrong target with him, he's terrible.
Oh, okay.
But with like like every other game where I actually charge the right things, he's been really good. Like he throws out I put warlock powers on him, so in combat he has like a 2-up invulnerable save. He's doing like D3 mortal wounds on 5s. He's just super nasty, and he was responsible for 3 of my 4 headhunter points in close combat.
Oh.
And he but like I said, every time I'm like, oh man, I don't know about these Dire Avengers, and then Azerman just comes in and just kind of sweeps the freaking table.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I have always thought Dire Avengers were some of the coolest looking Eldar models.
And then he died in Overwatch to a bunch of broadsides.
Yeah, broadsides are good.
Yeah, but it was like my last turn, and I was ahead by
What's on?
12 points.
Oh, so you were throwing Nate a bone.
No, I wanted to kill broadsides with Azerman. So,
all right, well,
that was my goal. But yeah, that's what we've been up to.
Yeah,
we're gonna come on back in a little bit here. We're going to talk about some Imperial Knights, but we have had some feedback on our podcast, just as an FYI. Lots of good feedback, actually. Yeah. And I want to say to there's someone out there who listens to the podcast and let us know genuinely that he would much rather hear 30 seconds of fart noises than our ads. And I'm like, oh, okay, so this one's for you. We'll be right back.
Whole night house against it.
yeah, I know.
I will say, now that I press record again,
Yeah,
Hey, we're back.
they did have a point about fart noises.
That was
That was very artistic. It was beautiful.
I felt it was classy.
It was.
It was much like this podcast is,
Yeah.
and always has been, just a real class act.
And we're continuing that fine tradition of classy fart noises.
I just checked our dick counter, and we're actually at like 0 right now.
What?
I'm sorry.
No, there's at least 2 dicks
we're
at this table.
We're at 1.
Arguably 3.5 dicks.
Yeah.
They got my dick message.
They did. So we're talking today about Imperial Knights. They just got their codex last week. They've gone through kind of many different phases. They first appeared in Epic as really weird 2D chicken walkers.
They were terrible in Epic.
They weren't great in Epic. There was always better options.
I like the
for
one
them.
that was bending over.
Oh,
Like,
yeah, like
you know,
come give it to me. I am a terrible choice for this army.
Don't spend your points on this.
So we had that there, and then we also had the Imperial Knight, the first codex, come out. And I remember kind of seeing this beautiful kit come out. I'm like, yeah, I want to run one. And then I go out and buy the codex, and it's literally 2 units.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 7th edition, the Imperial Knight Codex.
That was 6, I think. Actually.
Was that 6? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
6. Because you had the 6th edition Imperial Knight Codex where you had the 2 units.
Right.
And then they upgraded it in the 7th edition one to 5. And I'm like, whoa, that's like 120% improvement.
Guess what? We're up by 3 more units in this codex. So
We are. And
5.
5 more?
Yeah. Yeah, there's a bunch more in there. We'll go over there in a second.
Yeah,
but this
more.
is now our 8th
4
edition.
new ones, right? The rest are the same?
We have our
Fortification.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
The fortification. I don't count that as a unit,
Oh, actually 6, Canis Rex.
Yeah. Canis Rex.
That does count.
Oh, 7, the new Knight Preceptor. So see, like, there's like they more than doubled again.
Yeah.
That's like another 120%.
Yeah, but
So we're waiting for like 9th edition where it's going to be like 14 different
There's many
Imperial
choices
Knights.
of
Oh my
Space
God.
Marines.
Jeez.
Oh my god. As long as Guilliman doesn't get a knight suit. I'm gonna be fine.
Armigers are going to become troop choices. So,
No, thank you. But yeah, so now we have our 3rd Imperial Knight Codex official. And I feel they're actually an army now. Whereas before they were, hey, look at this cool big model we made.
I feel
Someone
like
sat and was like, how can this work on the table?
I honestly feel like it's more possible to be a legit standalone army by itself now, but it still feels like an addition army. You know, like it works better with somebody else. It's not like
So you mean like Death Watch?
no, because Deathwatch is sexy just by itself.
Well, it's
Well,
sexier
I mean,
with others.
It's sexier with others. Most Imperial are.
Like most things.
Yeah.
like most things. It requires more than one for maximum
I don't know.
sexiness.
When I'm standing alone by myself, junk tucked, looking in the mirror, I'm pretty sexy.
But it could be
Could you edit
sexier
that
if
out?
there
I didn't
were
mean to say
3
that.
of you.
Junk tucked, staring in the way. Buffalo Bill style.
I think I'm sexy. I do me.
Oh, I can't play that song. There's copyright.
Yeah, I know.
involved.
You're welcome.
Where were we?
Let's start at the beginning of the Night Codex there. So
Yeah,
At
sure,
the
we
beginning
can
of the
start.
Night Codex.
So are we going to talk about fluff? Or are we going to like which?
Yeah,
which
let's
part of
start
the
a little bit
beginning?
with the fluff.
That's good.
Yeah.
lead me down the fluffy path, Danny.
So
What do you got?
previously on Mob
Or
Rules,
John.
we
I
discussed.
meant John.
I was going to say previously on Mob Rules, we discussed how the Knights were kind of. They landed when humanity was sent amongst the stars, and they were used. And last time we talked about them, I could not get over the fact they were used as farm equipment.
Yeah.
And then like retrofitted to battle suits. Like someone saw this giant fuck off knight without guns, and then was like, "Yeah, let's give him a combine harvester. That's the best use of that."
Well, if you don't have any enemies, I mean, you can't shoot vegetables out of the ground.
Yeah, but I don't take
you
a
can.
fucking
It's probably way more fun than to get a
I don't
combine
take an-
harvester to
I
it.
don't
so-
take
It's called
like
the
a-
harvester.
I don't take like an F-22 fighter and be like, "Yeah, I can fly one guy commercially with this."
Or I can crop dust with this F-22. Look how efficient
Look
I
at the
am.
fart advert coming back over. Yeah.
I don't know. I just
And the fluff was kind of changed around them so that they were kind of pre-Imperium, almost there.
I like the Lancer class knight. I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
I like the idea that
Harvestmen.
they when the Imperium was spreading out, and you had these guys that were these big knights that were being piloted by people across the when they landed. So basically using them as like, all right, let's conquer whatever's here because we're expanding here, and then when finished, turning them into farm equipment. I feel like it made perfect sense.
Well, I mean, that's what they originally designed for, is like a multi-purpose thing. Like,
How?
do you need
This
what?
big fuck off chain sword, we'll use this to cut corn.
Or big trees.
Or sorry, future corn.
So you're telling me you don't believe that on a giant fuck off big spaceship flying across the universe, they couldn't carry 2 sets of equipment to equip
No.
be equipped?
Why would you carry 2 sets of equipment when you can just build anything you need from STCs?
Exactly. Well, here's the thing.
STCs?
It's like,
Don't
oh,
forget to send them to
man,
Mars.
we need this fence post set in. Bring in the Imperial Knight. All right, so
The Knight Pile Driver is a classic build.
the fence knight. Oh, it has a big sword. No. It has a fence post driver.
I think I would be afraid of a knight with a fence post driver. Actually, just logging, just shooting giant fence
That's
posts
very
at you.
40K.
Yeah.
The fence is made of human bodies where the knights just force the dude down.
They're just like pressurized corpse starch.
Ugh.
Work great as scarecrows.
Huh.
But yeah, so like they expand out, and we have farming knights and all that other kind of stuff, and then we get into kind of our new fluff.
So the thing I like the most about the fluff is how the Throne Mechanicum changes like the viewpoint of the wearer, and since only the most like charismatic and skilled of the colonists were able to become knights, those ended up being the people in charge, and so it gradually changed all of their societies to be kind of kind of the same.
Very feudal, if you will.
Right. And so they
Yeah.
became more authoritarian and kind of more conservative.
Because
And
that's
so-
the nice thing. Because you're right, the knights themselves start imprinting their machine personality on the riders.
Right,
Right.
right, exactly. And so they were bound to the chivalric code, and that made them kind of conservative. And so when like the Age of Darkness did end up happening, they were kind of insulated from that because they didn't use thinking machines. They didn't like modify themselves genetically. They burned all their psychers at the stake. So they're classy.
Did they build a wall to keep the psychers out?
They might.
They deported all
Made
this
of corpse starch.
corpse starch.
Of psycher corpse starch.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just writing down the word corpse starch because I feel there's a commercial.
I feel we can use that. Well, you could probably work if we do
have some
farts again.
ideas
You could
already.
do 30 seconds of farts, but just say corpse starch also in there like 16 times. You know.
That was my Gulliman napping commercial. Was just
Oh,
30
spoiler
seconds of
alert.
farts. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just a sleep farter.
Jeez. Ah,
It's like my dog.
God, I sure hope somebody comes to wake him up soon. I do love Fred. So does the internet, apparently. So, night houses. Night houses.
So there's two different types, right?
right.
So you've got the Mechanicum, or Mechanicus aligned houses, and then you have the Imperial aligned houses.
So, our Mechanicum aligned houses, do they seem to be
Mechanicus.
more?
It's
Yeah,
Is it
important.
Mechanicus?
So Mechanicum is, I had to correct myself, right, just now?
Yeah.
Because Mechanicum is 30K, Mechanicus is 40K.
Pretty much everything after the Horus Heresy got bureaucratically changed to us.
Because they were just the Mechanicum, and now they're the Adeptus Mechanicus.
That's my
Because they're
bad.
a part of the Imperium. No, you're fine.
I assumed that Mechanicum is what they used to actually create more servitors. Because when a mommy Megos and a daddy Megos love each other, is that not what happens? I'm not really I haven't bought that codex yet, so I don't know.
Oh, that's
Is
bad,
that
dude.
all right? Cut that out, John.
Is
that
that,
wasn't funny.
is that
It's
does
not
that
funny.
qualify as a dick joke? I just want to stop for a second and. Okay, good. Because there's a lot of hard metal to come here.
Yeah. There's a lot of metal jokes.
So,
Iron hard.
but so the Mechanicus,
Yeah.
they're aren't they more
What do you mean
piloted by?
Mechanicum?
Yes. Yes.
So the
so the Mechanicus, the
Mechanicus
pilots
aligned
are
houses.
they the Mechanicus aligned houses? They're more mechanically built princeps piloting them rather than like the humans of the other feudal worlds.
I mean,
right?
yeah, I'm sure that they have a lot more augmentation going on. But like virtually, they're pretty close to the same, except the houses that. So this is the way I kind of viewed it when I read the Codex, and this is just totally my take on it. I felt like all the houses that are aligned to the Mechanicus were more weak-willed than the ones that are the Questor Imperialis, which are the ones that are Imperial aligned houses, because they kind of like gave in to the Mechanicum, because it was at that point usually when they during the rediscovery of all these different worlds that they decided to become go back into the fold, right? And so the Mechanicum was able to come in there and influence them and make them swear fealty to them.
They're like, we can make sure your shit works right. We can make sure your knights work. And also you're going to see the people who aren't the Mechanicus houses, the Questors guys, have had some system in place and kind of repair and refreshing their knights.
Right. And so they were better able to make better quality knights, whereas a lot of the Mechanicus, Mechanicum, or Mechanicus aligned houses at that point in time, or now anyway, had a harder time building and maintaining their knights that they had in stock.
Yeah.
They try sending them out to get revamped at West Coast Customs or
They
anything.
put rims on a 89 Knight, and it was just no, the engine's still really shitty on it.
Right.
Still doesn't
Still
drive.
eats souls, and you have to put a bunch of serfs in there. It's a real pain in the ass to refuel.
I just
I'd have to say 3 prayers to get it started instead of 2.
Right.
God,
Right. Oh my
it's
god.
the worst.
The lack of efficiency is really
it's
disappointing.
terrible. So, because reading through the Codex, which I bought and you bought and John wishes he'd bought but didn't.
I bought a Star Weaver instead.
Ooh, probably a better choice actually. The
Just wait till I surprise you with these stratagems, John.
oh snap!
Oh no!
You can just listen to this review and you'll
Oh
know
no!
everything.
Yes.
Fuck.
Cross stratagems out, Danny, from talking about the.
Continue.
Yeah, John's taking notes now.
So looking through it, I'm less enamored as far as the knights go with the Mechanicus aligned houses. They just don't they don't do anything for me.
Does it talk about
fluff
what,
and lore wise?
Does
They
it
just don't.
talk about what stratagems they would use against Eldar?
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean you'll have to read the book.
Damn it! Okay,
It's in a book. Take a look. Buy your own fucking codex.
I want to go back a little bit here. The Throne Mechanicum. There's this
Right, Throne
grandiose,
Mechanicum.
amazing sounding thing, where it's just the seat that the pilot sits
a chair.
in. It's
Yeah.
a chair. And like we talked about, the personality of the knight starts to kind of take over. But the really neat thing about it is the knights are passed down from generation to generation to generation. So you start getting like the memories of your ancestors kind of like seeping into you as well.
Right.
Because the knight kind of leeches off your memories. And there's talk of like knights who, like, after the pilot was slain, they use his like memories, like frickin' Scarlett Johansson, like Ghost in the Shell style, and continue to pilot themselves.
That's not a thing.
So I was reading the book Kingsblade, which is I think it's by Josh Reynolds. Anyway, it's a Black Library novel about a knight, or about knights in general, and like the Throne Mechanicum in there will give the pilot advice from like his ancestors, which is really cool. Like they'll be like, "No, you shouldn't trust that Inquisitor." Well, I don't know, man. Inquisitors are pretty cool. No, dude, Inquisitors suck. Let me tell you, they'll exterminate you in like 2 seconds.
Like, let me tell you what me and your great grandfather found out about Inquisitors.
They fuck real good. That's no, I don't know.
Basically,
I enjoy the Windows update noise.
The great throne is also like just filled with the spirits of your ancestors, kind of like how a lot of the Asian cultures here on Earth think that the ancestors watch over them and just provide advice all the time. So I want to imagine that one of the people providing advice is like a really bitchy old grandma, sad that you haven't married yet, started having kids,
or they trained one wrong as a joke, but that's the only memory that knight kept.
That it kept.
Yeah, because it erased the rest. Oh, this guy is like really radically different than everyone else. This shit must be important. And they like choose the Hilverin that decides that
it's
jumping up and down on one
Those
leg
guys don't have
in the
Throne
backfield.
Mechanicum, though.
Just jumping. What, those guys what?
They don't have a Throne Mechanicus or the Throne Mechanicum though.
Oh man, that's how crazy the ideas were then when you got put in there.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So
super crazy.
So the houses.
Yeah. The houses.
I'm a big fan of the Mechanicus houses myself.
I'm just saying, fluff-wise.
Fluff-wise.
I didn't appreciate them as much as I did the other ones. It
Sure,
seemed like they
well-
had to struggle and fight to maintain everything.
Right, they had to work a lot harder than the
I
Imperial
feel like
houses.
you shouldn't be given everything. You should work really hard for what you have.
So the guys, the ones
Or
that
marry-
align themselves,
Or marry a precepts that's really rich.
the Imperial houses, the non-Mechanicus ones, they kind of act like Space Marine chapters. They're kind of like a part of the Imperium,
Right.
but there's a little bit of autonomy to it there.
Sure, and they offer to protect like not only their world, but I think also some of the worlds around them too, kind of like fall under their fiefdom.
Yeah. Kind of like mini Ultramars.
We
Kind
have
of,
yeah.
what would be some kind of standout Imperial Knight houses or Imperial houses for you guys there?
Well, I'm a fan
Hawkshroud.
of Hawkshroud.
Hawkshroud?
Just from the fluff perspective, Hawkshroud never turns down a request for aid, no matter what.
Yeah, they make a lot of really powerful friends. Like reading the fluff
Yeah.
on some of their things, like they have all kinds of like special, like they take insignia from other houses or like other allies. So like if a Space Marine chapter gives them an honor, like to like wear their chapter symbol, like they'll wear it no problem.
Yeah.
So which is pretty cool.
So you've got House Terran.
So Terran, I really enjoyed their home world. Just sounds so goddamn dull, and that's why they go crusading across the galaxy.
Because it's
Is
boring
because like everything they do, and I imagine them doing like these elaborate drills, like almost like the guards at Buckingham Palace doing these
Oh, yeah.
elaborate drills
Sure.
and shit like that in the home world, but under no real danger.
I think of them more kind of like the Ultramarines of the Night Houses. You know, they're just
No, because Ultramarines actually do shit in Ultramar, because there's Tyranids, there's all these other stuff there. Like Hawkshroud or Terran, they're just time to harvest that tree fence again. No,
okay.
guess we'll go crusading.
Hey, was that a psychic impulse saying somebody needed help someplace?
No, because they burned all the witches.
Nope. Okay. So yeah, so House Terran, boring, very Imperial Guard. You can't make a Terran Knight laugh. Actually, a lot of
never?
people try. Yeah,
No,
no.
they show no emotion.
They show no emotion.
in their
They just-
night
Oh, that's
base.
cool.
Yeah, they just stand there. You could piss on them and they'll
They
just be
sound
like,
they sound lame as
Yeah.
hell.
The poster boy.
the poster boys. House Cadmus.
They're
They
famed for their autonomy.
Yeah.
Like they value freedom.
Yeah, they were bound to
The Braveheart of houses.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
were with the Mechanicum.
Oh, yeah?
England. And then they regained their independence, their freedom, if you will.
When Griffon 4 died?
Griffin 4 became a small snack for a Tyranid hive fleet.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
They really don't like giving up that stuff to hive fleets, so...
But they go on hunts every year. And that's something else that's described in their fluff is that
It does.
They go on hunts. And all I imagine is they go like almost... I really want this to be like English nobility fox hunting.
Yep.
Where they all get dressed up in their finest night gear and
Oh,
shit
yeah.
up their finest weapon. And then they chase like one plague drone through the forest.
Oh, you think it's a plague drone?
No, they-
in my head, it's like a wolf rider they capture and an orc cyber boar.
Yeah, or just
and-
like
It says they
one...
hunt abhumans on their homeworld.
Oh yeah, maybe they put a flag
Well,
on
I mean,
one.
if you gotta...
Maybe the app humans are furries, dressed as like
all
people dressed
squats.
as foxes.
Mob Rules does not endorse John's comments about furries. We accept all listeners, whether you
No, we don't.
wear
If you're listening to us in a furry costume, stop right now. I already got your download.
I guess I'm not listening to our thing again. I just,
man.
I like their motto, actually. I like Cadmus's motto, which is they who are not our allies are our prey, which basically just to me is like, you know what? Either you're going to, we'll help you, or
You're either with
we're
us
just-
or
yeah.
we'll fox hunt you.
Yeah, we'll stick a flag on you and
Man, good times.
Good
yeah,
times.
So
Please someone model 2 Cadmus knights hunting one group of plague zombies with flags stuck through their backs.
That'd be a really great diorama.
Yeah.
like a
Yeah.
well,
the annual
wouldn't-
Cadmus hunt.
wouldn't be that great with
Just-
two plague zombies with being chased by giant Imperial Knights. You'd have to use the I'm sorry, is it Hulverines? Is that we
Yeah,
said?
that's how you say it.
Say it. Okay.
You got it right that time. Thank
yeah.
God.
Hooverines.
Hulverines?
Oh, the Hooverines. The Horverines.
Horverines?
The Horverines.
Horverines?
Yeah, Horverines
Horverines?
before Broverines before Horverines. There's House Griffith.
Now, you know what? Nobody likes House Griffith.
Bunch of Lancelots.
It's a terrible house, and nobody should ever want to be House Griffith. And anybody that actually paints like an entire House Griffith army is probably a terrible painter
feel
and should
like
be ignored.
Who has an entire House Griffith army that
it
you're very
Duncan?
Is it Duncan?
It's,
Is that his
yeah,
house?
it's Duncan. It's his.
Okay.
Can you be nice to him, please?
Yeah, because like he really helped me with like 3 of my models that I'm very proud of now.
That's true. You did follow a lot of his guides, but they haven't been putting out anything lately, except for like videos where Duncan tells you how great Imperial Knights are. So
They did a really nice playthrough of Warhammer Quest. That was super good.
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, they.
But yeah, they pretty much just run knight errants that are really hot-headed, and you know they act like the Iceman from Top Gun,
Just want to get in there.
and just want to get in there and smash
I don't think you
and go.
know who Iceman
Sounds
is
like
in
Jersey
Top
Shore.
Gun because he wasn't the hothead.
Who was Val Kilmer? Wasn't that Iceman?
That's Iceman, but he wasn't a hothead. He
Val
was
Kilmer
the,
was a dick in Top Gun.
yeah, but House Griffith aren't dicks.
yeah, they are.
Hold on. I'm going to...
Wait, we're gonna fact check this.
Yeah,
real
fact
quick.
check it.
Wait a second.
Because
Son of a bitch.
there.
We're waiting while Danny fact checks. Sorry, I turned down your microphone while Danny fact checks.
Wow, what a dick. All right, so...
Okay.
And we're back.
All right, Dave, you're back.
All right, good.
It
Don't know
says
why
right
Ted
here
didn't use this power more on us.
to turn people off.
Yeah. I listened to some of our episodes. I think he actually did.
John's got the power to turn people off already.
Ooh, accuracy burn.
Ooh, is that a point?
Yeah.
Can I keep track of those?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
cool.
welcome to
There you
Mob
go,
Rules,
like
where the scores are made up and the points don't matter.
Yeah, so they're known for their aggressiveness. And they're good in close combat, so they want to
Did
get
they
in
feel
Right,
the need?
there. For speed.
The need for speed?
It just says that they're really aggressive. It doesn't say that they're particularly fast.
Good to know, I guess.
Dicks.
I
I'm
don't.
sorry. Who am I trying to disprove somebody? I don't even know.
You know what?
I don't even know anymore. Mechanicus houses.
Whoa! Wait a minute.
You gotta
We've
skip.
got two
You
more,
can't.
dude.
Oh, we got
dude.
two more?
Hold on.
Yeah, there's two more. There's two more important ones.
I mean, we
We've
could
got
skip over
Hawkshroud.
House Mortan, which just sounds like
we are
Mortarian.
fucking
That's
talking
this
about
garbage
Mortan.
one. We need to
It's
talk
the
about
best of all.
Hawkshroud.
It's the best of all the Questor Imperialis.
House Morden?
Yeah, House Morton Salt.
Morden Salt.
So
Please, Danny, I will pay for you to custom make transfers. I like the chick holding the umbrella to go in the shoulder pad.
oh, that's the best. So they fight on like a darkness shrouded world that's on the very edge of the Imperium, and they only were actually brought into the Imperial fold in M35. So they like skipped the heresy.
So
they
by default, really recently in the grand picture,
Right.
It's because it's still 6,000 years or whatever it is.
well, I mean,
Yeah.
fairly
But-
recently, like comparatively to everything else. But
All
yeah,
right.
they hunt these like their world is shrouded in shadow, so they are constantly fighting these giant beasts that live in the shadows.
Giant bees?
Beasts,
bees. Your knights are useless.
giant beats. They're only half buried in the
just
Were
said
ground.
that.
were they by drag?
Vadum, vadum, vadum.
It might be, yeah. Oh, it's terrible.
So
They make a lot of sugar
Their
there.
carapace weapon is a UV light, like the little bug zapper.
it's a zapper.
Well,
Mad
what
off
else?
topic. Mad off topic. There.
What else with Morton? So yeah, they were recently in the fold, so they haven't got like a lot of the bullshit before, which is interesting because you think,
Yeah.
well, when Dark Angels come up and they go like, "Hey, we need your help," I'm like, "Yeah, cool, man, we'll work for you. We like Space Marines." They're like, "Oh yeah, but just don't ignore anything you heard about the heresy is wrong." And they're like, "Oh, what's the heresy?" And they're like, "I like you.
Yeah.
You're my favorite.
Let's be friends.
Let's be
Like,
allies.
Let's be allies forever."
So Hawkshroud. Hawkshroud's pretty cool.
Hawkshroud.
Let's talk about them. 'Cause
That is like your guys' favorite ones. They're very buddy with Imperial fists. They're like the next neighborhood over from Blood Angels. They just try and kill Alatok.
they don't even have free blades
Yeah.
because they're so accepting. God, what a cool place.
Yeah.
So it's this like modern liberal hippie place where they accept all knights of all creeds.
It's like Canada. They're friends with everybody.
They just-
like
Yeah. They're always apologizing.
right.
Yeah. Ooh,
Like-
sorry.
Like,
E.
they blow up a grav tank. Like, oh, sorry, that looked expensive. Or they kill a bunch of Wraith Knights and they're like, "Oh, I'm sorry about your ghost brothers."
Yeah.
Here's the spirit stones. We saved these for you.
Oh my
Right.
god, that does seem like something they would do.
Yeah.
Would be like murder the entire Eldar army, but return to the Farseer like 80,000 soul stones. And they'd be like, there you go.
Hang on to these. Don't let Slanesh get them. Sorry we had to kill your buddies.
Yeah, it wasn't our fault. They attacked first.
Yeah.
They're coming right for us. Boom.
Yeah, no, I just after reading through it, I just really like the Hawkshroud. I liked the way that they appeared to behave, and their motto, "No request for aid shall be denied," is just.
Really fucking irritating.
I think it's awesome, actually.
How's Hawkshroud? How's Hawkshroud? Oh, thank God. Our crops. They need harvested.
The ground needs to be tilled immediately.
but we're fighting Tyranids over here. Now, brother, no call for
Go.
aid.
Remember the words of the house, brother.
Send one of the Hooverines and go over there and you can
Just
kill it.
shoots up the ground.
Well, yeah, that's what the Hooverines' weapon was originally used for, was tilling the land.
Well, they put
with
seed
bullets.
pods in there, right?
Yeah.
So when they shoot, they can just shoot seeds into the ground. It's
accidentally
very
shoots
efficient.
the seeds
It's,
3
it's-
miles under the ground.
Well, they live on an interesting planet, John.
No, that's fair.
It's
That's
full
fair.
of rock.
It's-
You needed that heavy duty defense post.
The rock
builder.
is very accepting of all life.
Hooverines are able to do 2d3 damage heavy fence posts.
You know, there's also a house you guys didn't mention, House Dracus,
It's all right.
Oh yeah, from Astropole.
from the Freeblade game, the little mobile game.
Yeah, those are the guys in the book too.
Yeah, House Dracus. Which we'll go into.
And their world has they have 5
a
houses
shitload of
when
orcs who really shoot me hard.
Well,
apparently.
they have 5 different houses in the on their home planet when the first book starts. Mm-hmm. But they're all like named different. Like after there's House Dracus, there's House
Brachus,
Chimera,
Crackus, Dracus,
Arrakis,
Arrakis.
It's a Dune reference. You wouldn't get it.
The
House
spice.
Harkonnen.
That's their motto.
House Atreides.
This is
It's all just copies of Dune.
our motto is we're just Dune references. What's a Dune? I don't know. I found it on this piece of paper.
It's by an ancient literary genius, Frank Herbert.
But
I don't mean that. Okay. I'm all right.
I mean, we could talk for hours
Wow.
about how Dune's overrated, but we won't right now.
we have a lot of other stuff to cover.
Yeah.
Look for our new podcast, Overrated Dune, available every
Dune
other
rules.
Friday.
Reasons why the novel Dune is overrated, but the universe and story shows promise. Mob Rules podcast.
Muad'Dib rules.
are
That's the name of the podcast.
Yeah. It's a Dune reference. You
All right,
wanna get it?
so those are of course are the major houses aligned with the Imperium. Obviously, it's your fluff. Do whatever the hell you
So
want.
now we
do,
talked
but-
about those stupid houses. Let's talk about some Questar Mechanicus houses.
Yeah, the Mechanicum houses.
Well, I don't think there are any. I mean, we can go ahead and just skip right over those and go straight to Free Blades.
The Tyrannus.
Man, so let me tell you about my favorite house. Okay, so in the rules, they're my favorite house.
Tyrannus is?
The Tyrannus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Darth Tyrannus.
Darth Tyrannus?
Taranis is my favorite house.
Tyrannus.
I don't know. Is it supposed to be Tyrannus? I have no idea how to pronounce it.
I believe it's Tyrannus.
Well,
but they can't do
I've
it
seen
with
the
a
Dune movie, and they call it Tyrannus in that, so...
But they can't do it with a Y because Star Wars and Darth Tyrannus.
Oh.
If I had to guess, that's why it's spelled weirdly like that. But they have this is such a weird 40K thing. Be like, look, we have the oldest knight suits of all houses, and that's like me showing off my 1993 Ford Tempo and showing off and be like, look, I have the oldest car of all of us here.
Well, it's more like showing off your badass hot rod from the 60s, or whatever.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, but we've met John.
when things were built, where things were built right.
Yeah, my first car was a 93 Ford Tempo.
I was going to say, I've met John. It would be a 93 Ford Tempo.
And I hated that thing so much. But it had an auto start, which my current truck
Ooh,
does.
that's nice.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, so Tyrannus, they
That's
were
Tyrannus.
they were from Mars.
Yep.
So it makes sense that they were Mechanicus aligned.
Yep.
Because I feel if they weren't, they would be quietly removed from the records.
They
Very quickly.
by the order of Reductus.
Yeah. They would be
Redactus, I'm sorry.
Hey man, there's a night house here, right? Nope.
No, we just saw
not
him.
anymore.
Nope. But
Sure?
no, we saw this. Nope.
No.
That was
No, check your records. Whoa! Oh, they're all sharpied out. How did that happen so fast?
man. Where this
crazy.
record was, it just now says censored.
It says your mom.
You know who lives on Mars? Your mom's toaster.
Yeah.
Oh, snap.
That's a Mechanicus joke.
Your
folks.
mom's
Yeah.
toaster makes bread on Mars. It's funny on so many levels because toasters don't make bread.
Oh, they do in the 41st millennium.
I'm really enjoying this We Are Drinking Mob Rules podcast. I hope our listeners do. So Tyrannus is your favorite, Danny.
Yeah.
And
So
it's,
House Tyrannus is definitely my favorite.
Tarina? Why is
Tarantino. It's
why
pronounced
is-
Tarantino.
Why is
House
House
Tarantino.
Why is House Tori Amos your favorite?
In the background or from the rules, in a rules perspective? In the background, I think they're one of the coolest Mechanicus aligned houses because they're the oldest. So they're like the template that all of the other houses for the Mechanicus are built on. They only at the end of the heresy, they had 2 viable knight suits. That's it.
No, they sound like they suck. I mean, if they'd been,
I mean, to be fair, a night house based on Mars towards the end of the heresy.
Oh my God, can you
is
even
gonna
imagine?
get fucked over pretty hard.
Right, because half
not
the
if you
other
had good
knights.
pilots like Hawkshot pilots.
But if they were like,
Oh,
hey
yeah,
man,
were there Hawkshot pilots on Mars during the heresy, John? Were there?
Dave.
I mean, Dave.
Oh no, you
mean,
asked
where
John.
am I?
I'm going to wait for him to answer. I don't want to intrude. I don't want to step on anybody's
So
toes.
when you have the War Master knocking at the doors of Terra,
Right.
and they're pulling everyone back to Mars, I'll be like, so Tarianus, we need all your knights. I'm like, well, bro, we have to protect our suits for the future. Like, no, Toriamos, we need you right here on Terra now. So yeah, they're probably the 2 they have surviving were the 2 that didn't make it out on time or were in the shop getting fixed before they got to Terra.
Weren't those the ones that they sent to the webway?
Wasn't
that
that
the
the
house?
webway?
So you're saying this
shit,
house
okay.
tried to hide knights so they wouldn't get destroyed?
No.
Wow, this house sounds
Emperor,
like a bitch.
The Emperor commanded them to go into the
Right,
webway
sure
to fight
they
against
did.
some.
Yeah. Sure he did.
word bearers.
He was
world
busy
eaters,
sitting there thinking to himself, I better
some
send
custodies.
2 of Tarantino's
Some book
Knights
about it.
into the webway. Yeah, that sounds like the
They
he was
are
too busy
featured-
crying over Sanguinus.
They are featured
Sanguinus
in.
wasn't dead yet.
You don't
he
know
didn't-
that?
He didn't die.
He's not even dead yet.
He was
He's
dead.
not even
He's
dead
still-
now.
he's still
He was
alive
dead
now.
inside
He's in
from the
stasis.
start.
Well,
Like
of course, he's a
Gollum.
blood angel. He's been dead inside since life. But they were featured
Like
in
every Blood Angel player.
Yeah, yeah. He's dead inside and a terrible person.
That was a Miller burn.
Well, that was just an all Blood Angels burn.
It works really well.
Yeah.
But no, they're featured in the Mechanicum novel.
Oh yeah.
Really hard.
Well,
But-
and they're fighting against like other Titan legions and all kinds of stuff. That's like it's not just some whippy space marines. Let's put it that way.
No, and they hold their own for a lot of it. They're saying as well that their knights' thrones do not alter their brains.
Oh, that's probably
that's
nice.
cool.
Yeah, so they.
I mean,
they
that's
have-
probably because their
they-
pilots are all robots anyway.
Well, no, so they're not.
Partially.
But they are loyal to the Mechanicus first, and their house second, which is another thing that's brought up about.
Oh, that's
that thing
interesting,
there.
yeah.
So they're like loyal to a fault to the Mechanicus, and they think it's because their chairs don't alter their brains at all. So if
That makes sense, actually.
If any of
Yeah.
the knights' houses, these guys are the ones where they aren't being affected and they don't have the hereditary kind of stuff going through, and being based on Mars and being consistently upgraded to the best tech. They're going to be loyal to the Mechanicus first because, I mean, almost at this point, it's not a house. It's just
just
kind
like an
offshoot
extension of
the
Mars.
Mechanicus.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
just may as well call them a bunch of dune crawlers and send them on their way in that case. you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But yeah, they're super
But,
hardcore.
so that was House Tori Amos.
Let's talk about the big house for like Raven is like the most well known.
Yeah.
At least
well,
in the
of course,
book
it's
here.
the most well known. It's featured prominently in Forgebane.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it?
Yeah.
Have I read
I mean, their color schemes.
No, not a book. The box. The box set.
the Forge Bane
Oh
box set.
yeah, that's right. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
I mean, that's what's
They were
gonna be most well-known.
this was one of the 2 color schemes of the Games Workshop used for like their house army. So this is effectively like
The House Army.
the other Ultramarines army.
Yeah. So this is the but they have close. They're linked to the Forge World of Metallica.
Yeah.
By default, the best Forge World.
It's
True.
So
So
yeah.
it's really good in the 32nd millennium, but their last 8 millenniums haven't been anywhere near as good.
No.
it was after they cut all their hair off and put mechadendrites in.
Yeah. When they finally went fully soulless and sold out to the machine, they were just not as enjoyable anymore.
Oh,
I mean,
man,
you
this is great.
understand
You know
it
what?
to a level, but they just weren't as good as
I
back
think-
in the heresy.
I think they went downhill for me when they started, fighting against Napster. That's
Just the one guy though.
just
really.
let the STCs be free to
House
everybody,
Napster.
okay?
Night House Napster,
It
who
was
borrows the STCs.
well,
It's the free blade.
It was
Ulrich.
it was an up and coming.
free blade. Oh man, we lost so many people to that, but that's okay. I enjoyed the Forge World Metallica fighting against the
I
free
don't,
blade Sir Napster.
I don't. I don't want to talk about House Raven anymore. Can we move on? I think we're good. I
No,
think
no,
I've covered
okay,
it.
so-
That was
so,
good.
House Raven, they're like literally one of the largest of all night houses.
Right.
And they have like this big fortress, and it's like one of the biggest fortresses of anyone in the Imperium. Full stop. Like
Yeah.
it's on par with the Space Wolves, like
The Fang.
I was gonna say like their puppy farm, but the Fang, because there's no puppies on Fenners. But the Fang, it's just this super fortified thing. And you got to think, so you're gonna have maybe some Iron Warriors showing up, like, yeah, fuck you, fortifications, I can get through you. You get through the fortifications, and then you come against the largest night house the
Right.
Imperium has. I'm
just
sorry,
they were
the
just hanging out
Mechanicus
playing
has.
volleyball or
Well,
something.
So their fortress is so big that that's what they use for their house symbol. Like they literally use a picture of their fortress as their house symbol. That's how
true,
proud
yeah.
they are of it. What's it called?
It is
The
called
keep
What is it?
the keep inviolate.
Yeah.
Inviolate,
The
I'm
keep
sorry.
inviolate.
I'm going to be honest. Until I read this entry in the Codex, I honestly thought the symbol that was on their shoulder pads was actually like a radio tower. Because if you look
It
at
is
it,
a radio tower.
Black
it's-
cheese.
it looks it
They
kind of
could-
looks like a badly done radio tower, like from the olden days.
I'm sorry, I
Your
think
on
you're
a map.
mom's a badly done radio
Yeah,
tower.
it's a perfectly formed radio tower on a par with the Imperial Palace, sir. Yeah, that's those guys.
Yep.
What about House Crast?
I don't know anything about House Krast, so I'm going to defer to Danny on this one.
They are near Mars. So
Oh,
I would
okay.
assume
Well, then there we go. We've covered it. Let's move on to.
they
Freeblades.
were destroyed
so-
very heavily by the Horus Heresy.
They House Krast is first swears loyalty to Mars, and then vengeance against those that betrayed them.
And then their house. So first Mars,
right?
then the
Vengeance.
asshole who cut him off
Right.
at the refueling siphon,
Right.
and then their house.
So they're like Chaos Hunters. That's
House
pretty cool.
Raven dude runs right in the way. I'm just getting like $5 in gas.
Get out.
You've made the list.
But yeah, these guys are kind of like they're specialists, like I said, anti-chaos Titan hunters, and they're specifically going against.
They went against the Legio
legions.
Mortis a lot, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's like that's their target.
That's their thing. Is like they are there to kind of take down this
I'm
dishonorable
reading that now.
Titans.
brutal.
I mean, I
Like
think
the
you
Deus
read that
Irae.
the other day
Yeah.
when you got the Codex and we're doing all the studying. Not right now.
I mean, I did read that the other day. I
and-
really did.
Yeah, we are all not reading things right now, so
Right.
that works really well.
This is all from memory.
This is definitely not from the Lexicanum
no,
Yeah.
that's fine.
today.
Yeah.
So
Last one here that I have is House Volker, which is my favorite one because they have the classic literary device of deeply mysterious. No one knows much about House Volker.
what a lovely MacGuffin.
But they're super rich. They live in a place with values and wealth and jewels. But no one ever sees any flesh, and they never show their faces. They're always wearing masks and fox outfits and being hunted by knights from House Hawkshroud.
It's House Vulpes,
House
actually.
Vulpes. And then they have things like really decadent things like golden servitors.
Well, okay.
Which gold is an incredibly weak metal. It doesn't transmit very well, so that's a terrible thing to build a servitor.
It might be
out of.
Aramite. You don't know.
It could be golden looking servitors.
It's just brass.
gold plated servitors.
They're made of pyrite.
The House Volker youths tell their mothers that they were just polishing the golden servitor.
So okay, can we talk about that trope a little bit? Like, okay,
Which
so
trope?
Like,
Okay.
so
So mysterious
they've never
trope.
well, like they never reveal their faces. Like, there's totally a Blood Angel successor that does that. There's an entire Eldar craft world that never reveals their faces.
Harlequins.
No, Harlequins reveal
They
their
reveal
faces
their
sometimes.
faces. Sometimes, not all of them, but sometimes they do.
Like when they're not dancing.
I think solitaires never do
Probably not.
because they're essentially Slanesh now.
Right?
That's fair.
Somebody did not like that.
No.
No, my dogs are not liking that at all. My
They're
wife
like-
needs to be home to babysit them.
It's all right.
But yeah, it's kind of like a trope that's kind of starting to fall into Warhammer is of faceless men, faceless women,
And like, okay,
Well, you have so many of them in the Imperium Impossible.
or maybe
so-
it's just one with a very varied selection of masks.
they're all just
It's,
Dean Steeler
it's,
cultists.
it's like a behind the curtain Wizard of Oz kind of thing,
I guess.
where the guy's just pretending to be like the Sanguinor 1 minute, and then he's a Solitaire the next. And then he's some kind of weird ass fucking knight with a golden servitor that he's polishing. Then a third time,
Is that a euphemism?
yeah,
It is.
So what
It is on their homeworld.
way to polish the servitor.
So you're saying that the that House Volker could actually fall to Slanesh fairly easily? Am I mishearing that?
Yeah, no, you absolutely are mishearing that.
Because it sounds like they're very vain and very proud, and
I guess they could. I don't know, but nobody knows anything about them, so it's hard to tell.
maybe they're already Slanesh.
Maybe they are.
Hey, John's gone. Let's talk about free blades.
Okay, yeah, I'm good with that.
So I really like the idea of free blades, and from
It's
a
a cool
game
concept.
from the game aspect, because you have to choose when you're making a free blade character, you've got to choose a burden and a bonus and a penalty, and I really like that. It reminds me a lot of some of the other role playing games that we may have played growing up, where you were like, well, I've got 20 strength, but I also have night blindness as my
I want you to just make terrible.
Oh
things.
man, I want that as a disadvantage in a game so hard. Night blindness.
Oh, dude, can you imagine that as a free blade with night blindness and rolling night fight at the start of the game? You're like,
Does that mean he just doesn't see other knights?
My first memories.
No, I wanted to in my head. It would be like during night fighting, he gets a -4 to hit something.
Oh, yeah,
because
okay.
I got night blindness.
And
Jesus, it's
he's
dark
got
still.
he's got a movement of 2 inches
Yeah,
because he's like
just
trying to like feel with his feet.
carefully. But he's got a strength of 20 when he punches something.
Right.
So
That's a good bonus.
yeah, it's a huge bonus.
Just a bunch of broken shit around him and a bunch of Xenos. Just like he missed. I first heard about Free Blades, like, because I didn't read a lot of the Night Fluff when it first came out, because I essentially bought the book like in 6th edition to run one night. But Jerry Antis, the asshole knight, was my first introduction to Free Blades. In 6th edition, I think he came out. He was
a White Dwarf article.
He was a
Green
White
Knight.
Dwarf rule. He was. Oh, he had it will not die, so he kept regenerating his goddamn
man,
wounds.
yeah, that was the worst.
And he was just so OP. I love the idea in the background of Freeblade Knights, because it totally makes sense if you have these like rigid and you're pretty much at this point lifting piecemeal from Bretonians, and you're lifting kind of piecemeal from Arthurian legend and kind of stuff like that. That you have to have something like this here.
Well, even from historical, like historical literature, you had mercenary knights, all over Europe in the medieval ages.
I mean, the knights make perfect sense because and as the planets they were defending fell, they would, and if there's nothing left there, you just kind of move on, but you're no longer affiliated. You're no longer a rich house. You can get a ton of new parts and everything else that you need. You kind of got to scrounge and do whatever you want. You basically become, rogue traders but with a knight.
Yeah,
to cruise around with,
Yeah, and there's some great free blades out there. There is the White Warden.
I liked his color scheme.
Yeah.
You know what? I think he just needs to check himself.
He's on Alaric Prime. They made him the scapegoat for the Red Wa, which was one of the largest orc Was in memory outside of Glasgow.
That's hardcore, dude.
So they're like, yeah, dude, this was your fault. But I'm just one knight. Like, yeah, it's still your fault. But I like it said in his kind of background here that he's known for his mustache.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah. And
he's like best friends with the salamanders.
And his willingness to stick up for ridiculous laws.
Yeah.
I like that in their examples in Free Blades, they actually have one of the brand new super knights that have never been seen before,
Well, sure. And they have an armiger, too. I like how they talk about those.
You know what? I was so excited to see an armiger Free Blade. I was like, oh, Free Blade armiger. And then I looked at it and I was like, it looks like it was painted by a Harlequin. It's just checkered patterns.
Maybe it
mixed
was,
with yellow.
Dave. Mystery.
I mean, maybe what
Used
happened
to be from House Crast.
was that Crast was like, buddy, go repaint your knight. You look fucking ridiculous. Like, no, screw you, mom and dad. I'm going to go be your Free Blade and help my checkered knight.
He
I want to
pierces
polish
the
my golden
faceplate.
servitor. Don't come in. I'm just polishing the golden servitor.
That's how the bottom half of him's gold.
Very well polished.
Yeah, very
yeah.
shiny.
There's a Free Blade that isn't mentioned in here. That's in the actual video game Free Blade, right?
You mean Canis Rex?
No.
The free to play on rails.
The mobile Free Blade.
It looks cool.
It's pretty fun.
There was a gamer who created a knight, the Queen Bee, and then they petitioned to have it put in there as a Free Blade. That I actually figured would be in this book because of how famous it became in,
Oh, you mean GW ignored a really weird random meme?
GW ignored a effectively canon knight that was put into a game licensed by them. Yeah,
I really want to see an Angry Marine game now.
Yeah.
I'd play that.
Can't ignore that.
Yeah.
There's also Dairos Kamata, the Scorched Knight. He cut all ties with his house for some reason. Maybe his golden servitor wasn't as golden as his brothers. I don't know. But then he burned off all of his markings and livery by walking through a volcano, which to me is like the most 40k thing ever.
That's epic, dude.
It is.
He learned that his dad was like totally corrupt and was like fucking over the world, so he goes back and kills his dad.
Well, not like you do.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's what I would do.
That's a
Very
story I want to
very
read.
grimdark.
A guy who gets kicked out of his family, leaves, burns off his livery in a fucking active volcano, finds out his dad's corrupt,
livery.
goes back and kills his dad, He gets killed by orcs later. That's not quite as exciting. I'd maybe save that for the sequel. But yeah, not even by orcs. He was killed by orc shooting. So
Oh, dude, that's
no.
depressing.
yeah, that's the world's worstest way to die. But we should probably talk about the most famous Freeblade now. The second knight to get his own figure, Sir Hector.
He's pretty cool.
We should indeed. Let me find him in the book.
So Canis Rex, the
Yeah.
Chainbreaker. So his whole first of all, this guy also has a badass mustache.
Yes.
Hell yeah, he does.
I think it's important that all knights are piloted by people with mustaches.
I
I,
feel like
think that
that's
grows out as part of the throne mechanicum.
It's just part of it.
It's part of it. Like,
Like
you're-
so you think-
like electrolysis out all the other facial hair
so
on them.
your memory starts being melded with your ancestors, and you start growing a mustache.
So do you think that Armiger pilots, because they don't have a Throne Mechanicum, just
They have really good eyebrows.
They have really good eyebrows, strong
just
eyebrows.
really have facial hair envy of all the other?
They have
like,
facial hair everywhere but the mustache. They're like reverse monkeys.
It's like the werewolf people.
It's like they go to the freak show,
Yeah.
like Werewolf Boy.
Right, exactly.
That's him right there.
All right, so Canis Rex.
He was seems to be pretty much like Russell Crowe in Gladiator.
Okay, that's kind of a
Yeah.
cool way
That's
to
kind of
describe it.
how I see it. He is the last surviving member of his house.
He
Yeah,
gets captured by the Iron Warriors, right?
Yep.
And they torture the shit out of him like Gollum.
Right. By shaving
the
his
rest
face.
of his
They're
house.
shaving his mustache. They burned it off.
That was the source of his power.
Well, the rest of his household was captured and turned, including their knights.
Oh,
So that's why he's like technically the last surviving member. And I feel they get turned. Chaos Knights don't have facial hair. So it's just like an
sure.
Iron Warrior with a chain fist, just really delicately shaving off people's mustaches. We're like, no,
and that's how they turn to chaos.
yeah, that's how they turn to chaos. 'Cause let me tell you something. There's a lot of Imperial characters with mustaches and beards. Not a lot of Chaos ones. Name me,
I'm trying to think of one right now.
name me a
can't.
Chaos character with a beard.
Dude.
Wow.
Wow, you
Mind blown.
Yeah, no. Oh no, wait.
Oh,
Scarbrand, he has a beard. He has like
but
this
he's-
sick like goatee
He's
thing. That's
not
like
a Chaos character. He's a demon.
yeah, he's
Sir.
a demon, unfortunately.
no, he's a chaos character. He has both of those keywords.
All right.
You're talking about the fluff here, sir?
Yeah. All right. So that's the 9 houses there. I guess we got way off track. And
But no, well, I was going to say Sir Hector. Okay, so he's being tortured. Everyone
I guess
else
we're
is
still
having their
going.
Yeah, we're still
mustache
talking about it.
with their
Okay.
mustache shaved off. His knight comes to his aid like fucking Lassie. Comes and like shoots through and comes and rescues him.
you
and
watched
then,
a very different Lassie than I did.
and then the machine spirit then pilots
More like
itself
pickles.
while it holds Hector. I'm guessing lovingly in its cannons, and kind of
It has
runs
a fist.
away.
It could hold him in his
Yeah,
hand.
I'll hold him in his
Yeah.
fist. So yeah, he escaped with the help
He
of his knight.
shoved him into the cannon. Took him the fist, put him in the cannon to save him, and then held the cannon up while he was punching his way out of the other
Sure,
knights.
that makes sense.
I mean,
Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
But he is known as the Chainbreaker because he goes like the A-Team wherever there is trouble or chaos.
he was almost convicted in
If you can
1972.
afford him,
You can find him,
But he escaped from Iron Warrior's jail. And,
but he's for a crime he did commit because he loved the Emperor too much. But yeah, so he
That's
got
not a crime.
the name the Chainbreaker.
loving the Emperor isn't a crime.
If it's a crime, I don't want to be.
if it's a crime, call me a criminal.
But the neat thing about him, and this is kind of going to be a good kind of transition into the rules, is he's the first Imperial Knight where when the knight dies and you don't roll a 1, a neat little character of Sir Hector with a lunchbox comes out.
Oh, he does have his own little lunch.
He has
He
his
box.
own
does.
little
It's a lunch
lunchbox.
pail. It is, and that's really cool. I've always kind of thought that something like that should happen. Now, mind you, they shouldn't get out and be like some badass 10 wound Gulliman looking model. But why can't the pilot get out? Why isn't there an escape hatch? on
I
a
think
night?
I would balance to be okay if every knight was able to get out.
So would I.
Yeah, okay, I'm good with that.
I mean, except
Because it's not like when they
Well-
get out, they're suddenly like a toughness 8 monster. It's like a toughness 3 little bitch.
but
yeah. I mean,
it
except for the
sucks, like,
Hooverines.
if that's your warlord or something, Like, because he doesn't count as
Right.
dying until you kill the character.
He
and
will
has the
absolutely
character
be
roll.
everyone's warlord.
Well, if you're using
Yeah.
just solidly Imperial Knights, then yeah.
Because you can, once he's dead, like if you have a unit, you're like, I'm going to shoot all of my guns at Hector Rex. And Hector Rex dies in your first 2 volleys. The rest of your guns are wasted because Sir Hector's a new unit.
Yeah.
Or Canis Rex, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But
You combine the two in some sort of super sounding awesome knight instead of Canis Rex.
I did.
Yeah.
I heard the theme from the Bodyguard, you know, the I Will Always Love You, as Canis Rex is carrying Hector out of the Iron Warrior jail.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a beautiful story.
I also like his the knight has some cool like additional features that some of the other knights don't have. Like it has a cockpit that it'll open, and it looks like there's a detailed rider that you can put inside.
Yeah.
which should be a part of the new kit, which is super cool. And then also, the knight face mask is really cool. It's very very I don't know. This is gonna sound stupid. It's very knightly.
It is. It is. And as I said,
like a great
it's a great idea. And honestly, like looking at the original kit when it came out all those years ago, and you had like the top hatch that opened up, but just to this kind of like blank area. And I'm like, man, that would be a really easy place to just put that stuff in.
Totally.
And it's almost like they designed the model to be like, oh, we'll go back later. We'll add something.
Well, so you can buy a throne and a rider from Forge World to put inside there to do an interior
You've
kit.
always been able to.
we can?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, it looks
And
like they
the,
were like, here's a bone, Forge World.
And then the knight Cerastus, or the other knights, they'll have a fully detailed interior.
I was going to say,
as well.
they come with it, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They do. They do.
Yeah.
They're super good.
But yeah, that's Night Houses, and
Yeah, I guess we'll come on back after a real break this time and talk a little bit about the different knights and kind of how they work on the table.
Earl Hagen was a legend. In 1960, he whistled his way into Hollywood and into our hearts. Decades later, he made a comeback, lending those lustrous lips in the 1980s to such bands as the Scorpions, Guns N' Roses, and Pat Benatar. A half-century after his humble beginnings, he's at it again. This time without cumbersome musical accompaniment, he'll have you wetting your whistle and whistling along. His new album, Earl Whistles Disney, is sure to be a hit with all generations. Order now and receive a bonus album, Earl Whistles More Shit, a collection of previously unreleased material of Earl's favorite songs through the years. On this bonus album, he demonstrates his newly mastered technique of inward whistling. Order yours today on compact disc or double-length cassette. Also available at fine retailers such as Walgreens, CVS, and participating Sam Goody stores. Earl Whistles Disney. Buy it today.
Oh man, I will say that every time that I hear our Peter from NGC 40K whistling "Walk Like an Egyptian," I giggle a little, and it's our only real ad that is very little to zero to do with 40K, but it makes me happy every time.
yeah, it does.
so I will play that every time. That's good. Knights on the table.
Knights on the table.
We're going to kind of focus, like I said, this is the third itineration of the Knight Codex. And we talked a little bit about Knights before, so we're going to talk about a couple of the new ones, mainly the Baby Knights and the War Lads.
Yes.
Those are the official names for those, by the way.
Yep,
Now.
those are trademarked.
Trademark.
Games Workshop.
Yep, Games Workshop. War Lad Titan, which is... we said Warlad because it's a mini warlord. Because model wise, it looks exactly the same as its big brother, the Warlord Titan.
It really does.
So yeah, let's talk about those Warlads.
Oh man, I want to go first.
Okay,
Go
go ahead,
Armigers.
man. Yeah.
So the Armigers, you've got two different. The chassis is the same for both of them, but you have two different breakdowns, and why they named them two different types.
So they could sell two different kits.
Correct. I guess that's correct. Yes. So you have the Warglaive, which is the one that came in the Forge Bank box set, which, the first time I saw
no, the War Lads, not the Baby Knights. The warlads
yeah,
would be the dominuses.
Yeah, we did
Right.
talking about those first, I guess.
Yeah.
John
I
introduced those
didn't.
first.
I said I want to go first, so I started going.
Oh.
All right.
Well, all right. Okay.
All right. So now we're talking about baby nights.
I guess
Yeah,
now
baby
we're talking
nights.
about baby nights.
You got to work up to the big guy. You know, if you're at a gangbang and you get the big guy first, the guy that goes next is just disappointed.
And Dave's always the guy that
Man.
goes next.
Thanks for those words of wisdom.
I'm
Dave.
just saying. I'm a lot older than you. Trust me on this one.
All right. Yeah, I will. I will take your word for
Yeah.
this
And
100%.
I never want to talk about it ever again.
So
But we have the baby nights, the junior nights,
the baby night lights, as Twitter has started calling them.
the Happy Meals
Yeah.
of the Night franchise.
Available
Junior.
in 1, 2, or 3 sizes. You can when
No,
you,
they're
when you take
available
them
in
down,
one size.
Well,
the Armigers.
Bite size.
the Armiger size. But you can take them in 1, 2, or 3 for your data sheet, which makes it really nice. I mean, so you could actually get 9 of them at once.
Of each type.
Yeah. There's
There's 9 of each data sheet, so technically you get 18.
Which is another good reason to have 2 data sheets.
right.
Yeah. There's the ward gloves and the hoverins.
Yes. So the ward gloves were the ones with the Reaper chainsword or the repurposed soil tiller.
No, the soil tiller was the guns. I thought we already
Oh,
agreed
yeah,
on
my
this.
bad.
This is
They
the
blow up in the ground with seeds.
this
And,
is the shit. What's other farming activities?
I don't know. I'm not a farmer.
This is
If you are a farmer, I apologize for sounding really snotty there.
go.
Thank
but
you for listening to the show.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Talk about the Warglaive, Dave.
So Warglaives. Warglaives. I honestly, they move 14. They are amazingly fast. They're so fast. It's
Surprisingly
it's
fast.
nuts. They've got a giant melt-a-gun, effectively, that or heavy melt-a-gun that is
Called the
it's
thermal
30
spear.
inches. It's called the thermal spear. I was kidding there. Okay. That at half range does double damage. I can tell you for a fact that the Warglaive just absolutely wrecks the ever-loving shit out of fire prisms. All right.
I've heard that's the case.
I mean-
John, can you confirm that?
I can confirm that. I no longer run fire prisms.
Aw.
Because you know what they
That's
don't
how-
wreck the shit out of? A unit of 8 of something.
Yeah, that's true. Unless they get into combat.
That's
now.
not true because thanks to the new rules for the Reaper Chainsword, they actually get extra attacks against regular low wound units.
Yeah.
So, and then you've got the
And those are Reaper chain cleavers.
okay. I'm not even going to try on that one. I don't. It's. I'm moving on to the Hooverines,
Okay.
which actually are my favorite of the brand new knights that came out. I mean, just
Yeah, they're all right.
I gotta say, I looked at them. It was a little cringy that they're carrying spears. Oh, not spears, but lances with like the little like circle lance things.
Yeah.
I was like,
but their guns are so sexy for so cheap.
It's 2 Predator autocannons on one chassis, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
on a really tough, fast-moving
Yeah.
chassis.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you still got the 14-inch move. The Armiger autocannon is a heavy 2d3. Strength 7, flat 3 damage for each wound -1. 60-inch range.
Yeah.
It's freaking nuts.
Yeah.
2 of them can just sit there and
43 shots, strength
It-
7.
potentially, And
It's disgusting.
And then they have a good stratagem too where you can reroll to hit rolls against flyers for one of them, which is
Yeah.
really nice.
Oh, why does everything against flyers?
Because they're like supposed to be the night anti-air. And because
Well, that was gonna
Games
be my-
Workshop literally hates just you, John.
yeah, I actually
That's not true. I don't have a Tau army.
Remember when we talked about the other day where it had like a passage that specifically referenced you? It actually says right here in the entry, ignore the penalty to hit rolls for moving and firing this weapon, and if you play against John, does +3 damage per hit.
Well, I don't have the codex, so I can't confirm or deny that, but I don't feel that's accurate.
we
even
both
if it
do,
looks
so
like it's
2 out of 3.
written with a handwritten note, that's legitimately how it's supposed
I
to be.
really want to see how you would do, like, if you were at a tournament and you just went in with, like, white out on your thing, and they were like, what's this? It's a 120-inch range plus 4 to hit, flat 12 damage.
Against
Says it
guys
in my
named John.
yeah.
I wonder if you would get kicked just straight out for doing that stuff. Like, I think it would be funny to just try and do it like once, like as a joke, and like see how far it gets. Yeah,
So how far does it get? I killed his entire army with one shot.
and then I would be DQ'd.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
Anyway,
so I mean, that's it for me. I mean, I just really like the night lights. I like the way they look.
So let's talk about them a little bit in this respect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
points
from a
drops.
tactical,
because they went from the Warglaives went from 220.
227 with the melt-a-gun.
So okay, so they were 210 before.
No, because the
Melting gun is 17
Yeah.
points.
So-
yeah, but it wasn't. It was. They
Well,
were
anyway, they were roughly about
13 points for the melting
230.
gun is what it was.
Sure,
Right.
sure.
So
230,
roughly.
240 points, whatever. So they drop to 160 base, and then it's 4 points for the stubber, 17 points for the melting gun. So great value there.
Really good value.
I think you
It's almost
get
like
a lot
a
for
50% points drop now.
crazy.
It's crazy huge points drop.
And I felt they were good before. They
They were overpriced before.
they were,
for sure.
overpriced, but now I actually feel like they're underpriced.
Well, because we were talking about it before. Like,
Well,
man,
they're
if they were
not
like
for-
if they were sub 200, they would be good, great.
Yeah, but
I think
160
The
is-
160 comes from the fact they don't generate command points on their
Yeah,
own.
so that's
Yeah,
and that's
that's-
what I'm saying. Like, you to get any of the cool benefits for the book, you have to take 3. Oh no, you don't. You still get the benefits, but to get any CP out of a super heavy detachment, you need to take 3 of the
Proper
larger
knights.
class knights.
Right. But I mean, if you're just looking for something that has to add a little extra oomph, on the cheap to your Imperial Guard battalion,
Yeah.
Armigers are
Just a couple of
Great.
Armigers would be a good buy for an Imperial
Yeah,
Guard.
that's what I'm saying.
player. It's like if you take the Warglaves, they'd be a really good counter assault unit.
I mean, the Hooverines would probably be a really good complement to like 650 points of Dark Angels, maybe.
I don't know. Okay, so here's the deal
But
with these.
I mean, that's a
like,
discussion for another time.
with the
Hang on.
Hooverine, with the Hoover round.
The hover round?
The hover round, yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
all right.
They, I don't know that I'd take one over taking a Lehman Russ. Like, I think a Lehman Russ is still better for the points. Because
All
you
right.
get 2d6 battle cannon
I can see that.
shots.
I think you're wrong, but that's just me.
Okay.
I mean, I haven't done the math on it. The amount of shots you get versus, I feel like some of the stratagems that you can actually use with the
And you've got to
Armigers-
take at least 3 of the Armigers if you're going to use the stratagems. Because you can't get any of the stratagems if you just take an Ox detachment of them.
Yeah, it has to be more than auxiliary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's like a minimum 400, 500
There's-
point investment for 3 little guys to use the stratagem.
Worth.
I mean, yeah, it's like it's going to be 500 points. Like if
Yeah.
you take 3 of them, and if that's what you want for your army, I think that they're still a good choice. They're well pointed for what you get.
Yeah.
So I'm actually so I thought that they would be broken if they were like under like 175 points. But the more that but because of the way that they balanced it comparatively with the with the keywords, I think it makes them still viable but not broken. If they got command points as well, they would be unbelievably good.
If they had command points, I would literally run an army of nothing but Armigers.
I think you
and
could
just
do-
piranha swarm the shit out of stuff.
I think you could do it even without the command points, to be honest. I mean, if you had to, you're not sacrificing anything to do that. I feel like we should, you know what, send John 18, send John 18 baby knights, and we'll run a game.
Yeah, send me all the knights.
where
Because if you
Danny,
think about it, you got to invest 200 points for like a shitty cheap Imperial Guard battalion for command points,
what I'm saying
which
is, if
leaves you
if
1,800 points left over. And then if you're doing, say, that leaves enough room for 9 knights, roughly.
Yep.
Yeah, but
And that could be another, if you got command points, that would be another 9 command points. So you're looking at 12 plus 5, 17 CP, which is probably too good.
Yeah.
which you're not getting
But like,
command
if you're
points for
not
that.
getting that, then you get 8. And I don't know the 8 CP is enough for knights. And plus, and another thing to think about too is that you're not spending those CP on, like, the Armigers don't have as many good stratagems that apply to them comparatively to other stuff.
I think it just depends on which house you choose, because
Yeah.
each house has different tactics. But
I think generally the house rules don't matter.
as long as
That's my opinion.
As long as it seems like we're all in agreement that the Hoover rounds are the best thing to come out of the Codex, then we're good. So go ahead and go on with the War Lads, Danny.
I'm going to disagree with you because the War Lads are coming.
Well, okay, so before we get to the War Lad, let's take an intermediate step and let's talk about the Knight Preceptor, because that goes alongside of the Baby Knights.
Yeah, that is also a new knight.
Yeah. So the cool thing about him is he has the Mentor rule, which lets you reroll hits of 1 within 6 inches of him for friendly Armiger units. And there's a relic that you can take that you can target a unit, and all your Armigers get +1 to hit against that unit. So you can do some really cool, like, 2+ to hit rerolling 1 stuff with that, which is really solid. So I can see, like, as a little detachment, 1 Preceptor and 2 Hover Round Knights like being a really solid thing to just like take down a flyer, be like, okay, I get +1 to hit against him. Now I'm hitting on 3s, rerolling 1s, or if I want to spend the CP, I can make one of them a 2+ to hit, or I'm sorry, reroll all failed to hits against that flyer. Super good.
Especially flat 3 damage, strength 7.
Flat 3 damage is rad.
Because there is not many flyers, if at all, standard that's going to be above toughness 7.
Right, exactly. But yeah, he's got a really great gun in that he has the Laz Impulsor, which has 2 different settings. So you've got a 36-inch range, 2d6, strength 6, -2 d3 damage hit. So kind of like a low-strength battle cannon, roughly.
Okay.
At a lower range. But then he also has an 18-inch range, heavy d6, strength 12, -4 d6 damage shot, which is pretty good. I mean, that's going to be...
Are there a lot of... is there any other strength 12 weaponry that's actually like in a regular codex? I'm not talking like 4 build units.
The Hemlock Wraithfighter is, I believe, strength 12 -4.
Sure.
Okay.
2 damage apiece.
There's a bunch of Baneblade variants that have strengths over 10 on their main gun, but that's like a super heavy weapon.
Yeah.
So, and then of course there's definitely things in the Nightbook that are strength 12 or higher. But yeah, no, a strength 12 gun is great. Although granted, strength 12 isn't any better than strength 9 against most vehicles in the game.
Right. You're still hitting on 3s.
Right.
Yeah, we're
wounding on 3s.
Oh, but wounding on 3s.
Yeah,
Same deal.
Yep. All right, so let's move on
War
to the
lads.
War Lad. Man, these guys are cool.
Can we talk about the coolest model? Maybe not the best game-wise, but the Valiant. The Poon Master.
Yeah, we can talk about the Poon Knight.
The Poon Knight.
So when I originally read the book, or heard about the book, I should say, and I heard about the Knight Valiant, I was like, man, this thing is like the coolest thing. And then I like really got to think about it and combine the different stratagems and stuff. And I think the Knight Castellan is better. But let's talk about the Knight Valiant first.
So the Valiant has a couple of things going with it. Like GW has really kind of pushed how it has like the heaviest hitting gun in the game.
100%.
100%, like better than Titan weapons. It is strength 16, AP -6, flat 10 damage, plus D3 mortal wounds.
Yeah.
So it gets to reroll to hit against monsters and vehicles, which is awesome.
Right. So it's hitting, and if it hits you, you're pretty much dead. The only issue with the gun is, it one-shots Guilliman. It one-shots planes. It one-shots pretty much everything in the game.
Unless you have an invulnerable save.
Or feel no pain.
Well, yeah, but then you're only going to be saving 1 point of damage every time you make a save, right?
Maybe you're only going to be saving 1 point of damage.
For each successful save you make. I mean, that's how the rule works.
I mean, maybe that's how your rule works.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just saying that there's 10 wounds there. I'd roll 10 times, and I'd make all 10 because that's the only place I
better not roll
sixes.
them one at a time, Dave, or we're going to have problems.
It also has a conflagration cannon.
Oh man! Okay,
essentially 3 heavy flamers strapped together.
It's like 3 flamestorm cannons strapped together.
Strength 7, AP -2, 2 damage apiece.
It has the coolest looking and sounding weapons as far as like weapons go.
Badass.
I mean, when we first started like reading about the Night Leaks and everything that was coming out, there was at least 3 of us in our group chat that wanted to make Captain Ahab.
Oh yeah,
Valiants.
Yeah.
And I think that there's a really solid army build like centered around this particular model by itself, just being such an unkillable unit, and just like running up the table and blowing something away, or blowing up like 3 or 4 things every single turn, because it definitely has the firepower to do something like that. It can kill a tank with 1 gun. It can conflagration cannon another unit.
Yeah.
And then it has 4 melta-guns, and then it can have it has 4 shieldbreaker missiles, which we can talk about in a second, and then 1 cannon, siegebreaker cannon, which it can swap for another siegebreaker cannon instead of one of the missile batteries if it wants to. So 2 siegebreaker cannons or siegebreaker cannon batteries have a good chance to take out another vehicle. Like, I really think so. With 4d3 strength 7 -1 d3 damage shots.
We're getting mad
-2. I'm sorry.
I mean, we're getting into mad math hammer here, which you are the master of, Danny. I've seen the spreadsheets.
It's still super good. The issue runs into is pretty much every single gun on it is incredibly short ranged.
Yeah. It's a close range brawler.
Yeah, it's got to get up in your face and hit you.
But I mean, if you were to
if you make
screen
a
it,
Death Watch, you can just deep strike it.
or if you were to screen it with a bunch of armigers,
That could be good.
so then that way you're not getting it into combat.
So I don't think you don't want it to get into combat.
Really? Because you can
Yeah.
back out, right?
Yeah, or if it's infantry, you can walk right over it. And then
Well,
get to their lines.
You don't have to screen it too hard with very much of anything because
You're just
you
trying
can
to
make
keep
it
the hardcore stuff
yeah,
away.
but you can make it a character.
But you,
Well, what?
what
You
difference
can,
would that
you
make?
can make it a character, which means
Okay.
it can't be targeted.
Yeah, it can because it's
No,
over
Oh,
10 wounds.
It's over 10 wounds. That's
Yeah.
right.
So, so one of the things that I heard this week on the Veterans of the Long War podcast, or the Long War podcast, they were talking about having some.
You know, my favorite thing about that podcast is
What's that?
Is they put hand grenades in the hobby, and they're like, "I wonder what this will do," and they throw it out there.
Yeah, they do. They so
throw
do
it out
that.
there. And everyone was like, and I feel like they're just sitting looking at Facebook and Twitter and be like, "Good."
Yeah, I kind of feel like I've been like prompting people to put these out there or doing it myself the last couple of weeks. They've been putting anyway, but having some Custodes shield captains on jet bikes, like hanging out behind it, and then using the stooping dive stratagem so they can charge into combat with whatever charged you and strike first. So you get like the 5 like really good Custodes attacks against whatever you have, or if you took a full unit of jet bikes and hung them out behind it, like so whatever charges you, you can get in there. Or if you run Hawk Shroud, like having one of your other knights shoot whatever charged you, and then also like getting
Yeah.
a heroic intervention of
dimension,
2d6 inches. So cool.
There's a couple of really gross things on there.
Yeah.
I feel like they really dropped the ball on the harpoon cannon, however.
Okay, how so?
Really,
Because I really feel like you should be able to retract whatever is you shoot the
Oh, like
harpoon at.
bring it into combat with you.
Yeah, like so if you hit the greater demon and Nurgle and for flat 10 damage and you don't kill it, you also get to then draw it to you X number of. I mean, you shot something with a damn harpoon. What's the point of it being a harpoon gun and having a chain?
I think they rip it out for maximum damage.
yeah.
It just
I get what you're saying though.
Yeah.
Maybe instead of like bringing it closer to you, because there aren't really any mechanics in the game that move your enemies' models, which is
Right.
for good
Good.
reason,
Very good,
because
but-
they had that problem in 4th edition with the Slanesh psychic power to let you move people 2d6 inches, which was totally broken. So you just ball people up in a ball and shoot them with templates, right? So, but having maybe giving it a bonus to its charge distance instead against that target
yeah.
would be a cool mechanic, because that's kind of how Death Company dreadnoughts work with their magnet launchers that they have on their
Yeah,
on their
I think the issue goes into is it's like a lot of playtesting and balancing to make something
Yeah,
like that
yeah,
work.
yeah.
For something where 90% of the things, if you hit it, it's dead.
That's true. That's fair, and that's a really good point to bring up that John makes.
Yeah, because like I said, outside of a Greater Demon of Nurgle or a Land Raider, not much is surviving something that does 11 to 13 damage.
that's fair. I think even though if you kill it,
Because I
you
just
should be able to
imagine,
move like
I just
the
imagine to
terrain.
drag the corpse towards you.
Yeah.
Be like, all right, so my Farseer is dead.
Oh.
Like, okay, well, we're just going to work out if he gets dragged into combat. Davey's fucking dead. Just
No, it says I get to drag you 2d6 inches. I'm going to do that.
This
Yeah.
is fun for me.
Yeah.
So now we know why they don't.
Yeah.
So shield breaker missiles.
Oh, man.
The major salt factor coming out of this codex
Yeah, it might be.
is the shield breaker missiles. Now, they work. Shield breaker missiles ignore invulnerable saves. So everyone's like, "Ma, invulnerables," getting so worked up.
I like those poor Dark Eldar Archons that have the 2-up invulnerable
Oh, yeah.
save. They're like, nope,
Nope,
I don't
just
think
your
so.
regular 5-up.
Yeah,
But they're super good. I think my favorite thing about that thing, and here's the thing, there's only 4 of them. Probably only 2 of them if we're being realistic about it, because a couple batteries I feel is super good.
you have to spend the stratagem, right, to like be able to shoot at a character, because like 2 points for that.
Yeah.
Because that's pretty much the only way you're going to be able to shoot at a character with one of these, unless your opponent has made some gross miscalculation and there's a character really close to you.
I've made a huge mistake.
Mistakes were made. And like, yeah, it does d6 damage, right? But a lot of characters are 5 wounds, and there's like only a 1 in 3 chance, even if you hit and wound, which you're both like you're hitting on 3s, and then you're wounding on 2s against most things. But like, it's a super slim chance for you to roll all of those dice together and get a result where you're going to ace a character with one missile. It's going to take 2 missiles probably to ace most characters.
And you can only really reliably fire 1 a turn with the stratagem. My favorite thing about that stratagem, though, is the description of it. Is the reason it can target characters and ignore the character targeting rules is because it smells dishonor.
Yeah.
Epic.
So I want to know.
It's so 40k, dude.
I want to know
really
how
is,
the Mechanicus field tests this and kind of gets the sensors right. Like, do they take like a cultist up and it's like, oh, yep.
It's gotten the scent.
It's got the scent of that one. They take like an ultramarine up and it's like, oh wait, no, he's getting the scent there. We gotta go reconfigure.
Gives a red light for that one, yeah.
Inside the cockpit, there's just hieroglyphic symbols for what it needs to shoot at, and it's a Nurgle symbol, and it just looks for a Nurgle.
It's piloted by a servitor.
Yeah.
So yeah, but like I said, I don't think it's going to see as much play as the other night. Though talking about it right now, running one right up the center of the goddamn table seems like my kind of jam.
Yeah, dude, that seems like a good strategy for you because you can make that thing really hard to kill and like just be a real bully in the middle of the table.
And you can make it haul ass too.
Right. Yep. So, Knight Castellan is the other variant, right?
Yeah.
So he exchanges his guns for some different guns.
Yeah.
And less missiles and more shield siegebreaker cannons, which is definitely my bag. And then he's got his main gun replacements. He has the Volcano Lance, which is basically a stripped down version.
That's a melee weapon, right?
No, that's a shooting weapon.
Yeah.
Really?
These are
I mean,
shooting
it's called a
knights.
lance.
Well, so is a Bright Lance and a Dark Lance, but those are both shooting.
But those are on
weapons.
Eldar, not honorable knights.
So anyway, it has the.
I'm pretty sure that the main night gun on the Errant is a thermal lance. Oh no, the thermal spear. That's not a melee weapon.
Yeah.
It's
not a knightly lance though. Volcano Lance.
Yeah, so Volcano Lance is a stripped down version of the Volcano Cannon that comes on the Shadow Sword, heavy Imperial Guard tank,
right?
Which is just a brutal anti-tank weapon. So, strength 14. Heavy D6, strength 14, -5, 3d3 damage per hit, and it gets to reroll failed to wound rolls when it targets Titanic unit models with its weapon. So, I can't think of a better weapon to kill another knight, honestly, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe a Shadow Sword's cannon is a little bit better, but on this tank or on this walker, it's so good. And then it has the Plasma Decimator, which is like an upsized version of a plasma cannon. Now the normal
is that like
on,
5 plasma cannons strapped together or something like that?
It's just one really big one with a bunch of extra like cylinders on the side.
Yeah. They put like a shitload of extra batteries on it.
And from a game perspective, to me, that gun is garbage. Is just really bad until you put the relic on it. Because there's a relic on it that is called like Call's
Plasma Decimator or something like that.
Yeah, it's called like Call's Blessing or something like that.
Call's Wrath.
Yeah, Call's Wrath. Thank you. And what that does is it gives both profiles, and it has a normal plasma gun profile, so either strength 7 or strength 8 with 1 or 2 damage, and then on ones to hit if you overcharge it, it explodes. That's the normal profile. But Call's Wrath gives +1 strength, -1 AP, and +1 damage to both profiles. So it becomes strength 9 if you overcharge it with Call's Wrath. Strength 9, -4, 3 damage per hit, which is gnarly.
It's sick, but it's still just a plasma gun.
Well, here's a review of a game that's happening tonight here. Volcano Lens keeps flubbing hard, but Call's Wrath is deleting an LR a turn.
So that's a Lehman Russ.
Yeah, Lehman Russ a turn.
I think easily it should, like just based on math, because it's heavy 2d6.
Yeah.
Now,
and the opponent replied, "I got fucked. Knights are really good." Ha 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 ha.
That's a sad laugh. I don't know if you could tell.
I don't know. I was laughing pretty good. I feel pretty good about it.
So the deal with this guy, like I think the money shot with him is to take him as House Raven. Now the House Raven benefit doesn't really benefit him super hard, but the stratagem for them is super good. It lets you reroll all ones for the unit. So that's to hit, to wound, number of shots, and number of damage that you roll. Now, that doesn't seem like it's super good for this thing, but the amount of weapons that fire D3 shots or do D3 damage, or like, for instance, the Volcano Cannon does 3D3 damage, and that's rolls of 1. So on a D3, that's a 1 or a 2 that you get to reroll. So
It is.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So like
I
the
heard your
amount-
concern grunt.
The amount of rerolls that you're going to get from that,
Is
just based
ridiculous.
on that stratagem, is huge. So you get a lot of value for that.
And then you're not going to blow yourself up.
Right, from
Generally.
from Call's Wrath.
Which
And
you're going to want
Well, you're not
take
going to
on.
blow yourself up, period, because the worst you can do is take 1 damage for 1 mortal wound if it does damage
for
to you.
each hit roll of 1.
Yeah.
So if you roll a bunch of ones, I mean, you're going to
Yeah,
take,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
you could take a lot
Well,
of
I'm
damage,
not
I guess.
John, so I'm probably going to roll 1.
Let's
at
not
best.
point fingers, Dave.
That's not a finger.
That's a plasma cannon.
but I think both of the Dominus class knights are really good to build an army around.
Because they're a centerpiece.
Potentially, yeah, they really are. They're a Guilliman for Imperial Knights.
And then it takes away from the need to use Forge World Knights, I feel.
Yeah, which is good.
Because Forge World Knights were kind of
not if
used.
you're Forge World.
They were used to kind of fill in the gaps that the old knight houses had.
Right.
Because the knights came out, they had 2 knights, and Forge World came out with, I think, 6 different knights they have now? 5 or 6?
So they have 4 different Cerastus Knights variants and then 2 different Questoris Knight variants.
Right. So they filled in a lot of gaps for that now, but a lot of that, I mean, they're still great, is taken up by the War Lads, the Armigers, the Preceptor.
I'm going to wait, like, so because of the way that those knights are worded, like, and the keywords work for them, they don't really work with the Codex very well right now.
No.
However, they're
Forge World Knights?
supposed, yeah,
Yeah.
they're
No, they do
supposed to be an FAQ coming out for them, which I suspect they'll address many of those issues and make them work make them work well in this army. And I think then you're going to start to see them quite often in this army because they're still really good. They're a little more expensive for their point value, but they kind of fall in as an in-between between these 2 knight chassis, and like the Atropos and that kind of stuff, starting with a 4+ invulnerable save, like, is huge for them. So anyway.
Yeah, Knights super solid on the table. Well, I know we mentioned a few stratagems. Like I said, my favorite would be the one which causes your guns to smell dishonorable things and fire away. Dave,
Always
what
a
are
solid
you?
one.
Well, what are you taking away from the Codex for stratagems?
Chain sweep for the Armiger. Chain sweep in general is for anybody with a chain sword. It's only one command point, and you use it after fighting with a chain sword, and you roll a d6 for each model within 3 inches of the knight, and on a 6, that unit suffers a mortal wound. So it's basically like an extra way to just be to get your Reaper chain sword in there and just do way more damage than your four attacks.
Sure.
But my absolute favorite actually is a House Hawkshroud stratagem. Staunch Allies, which you choose a friendly Hawkshroud model that is more than 1 inch away from an enemy and 12 inches from the unit that's being charged, and then you get to Overwatch. Basically, Hawkshroud becomes Tau.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then, if the resulting charge is successful, you can then take that knight and do a heroic intervention.
Yeah, not just a normal heroic intervention.
Right. As if it was as if it were a character, just like I'm coming in.
Yeah, but it's not just 3 inches. It's 2d6 inches, right?
Is it? It is 2d6. Yeah, so it's 2d6. I was like, it's 12 inches.
Brutal.
But I mean, it's like here.
So
I
you can
come.
heroic intervention the fuck away from that combat
Right.
to someone else.
So heroic, dude.
You're like, I'm being charged by a knight. I'm gonna go take care of these guardsmen over here. Danny, what you got stratagem wise?
Okay, so like I said before, I'm really digging House Tyrannus. So not only are they harder to kill because they have a 6-up Feel No Pain against
the
non-mortal
Tyrannus.
wounds, because the Tyrannus. But they have, and speaking of Tyrannus, their stratagem is called Our Darkest Hour.
Oh, sorry. Turd anus.
Third anus, thank you. So what happens with that one is if your knight dies but doesn't explode, on a 4+, it gets to come back a la Necron reanimation protocols with D3 wounds remaining. So yeah, that sounds pretty good on its own, right?
D3 wounds is okay. I mean, you're still on your lowest profile, but you're still up, right?
But on
Right.
a Poon Knight? Like,
Yeah.
if you have a, 26 wound, toughness 8 knight that you've got down to nothing, and then he just fucking gets up with 1 wound,
And-
how mad are you?
Oh, pretty mad, right?
Pretty mad.
And so you can do this multiple times over the course of the game. And so coming back to D3 wounds, it sucks because you're at lowest profile, right?
Solid synergy with House Toriamus.
Until you add in the Machine Spirit Resurgent stratagem for that Mechanicus Knights get, where you spend 1 CP and they fight at their full wound profile for that turn. So I'm really enjoying that combination. That seems like really amazing.
You know who's not enjoying that combination?
Everybody else.
People playing you. Knights are super solid on the table.
They're solid in fluff.
We've talked about the kind of the need to take kind of like your typical Imperium Guardsman battery for some command points.
Yeah, for sure.
Right. But in general, Knights are hugely effective now on the table and very varied, and it kind of follows the 8th edition trend of I don't necessarily know what my opponent's bringing. If he's like, hey, I'm bringing Knights.
Right.
Like before, that was like, oh, probably this and this and this, and then I'll win because I have like high strength weaponry. But now, like, I don't know, is it going to be based around a Dominus? Is it going to be a bunch of Warglaves? Is it going to be kind of classic Punch Knights that are just kind of running up the field, fucking everything up? It is very varied, and there's a lot of options now, and you're not kind of boxed into one or two stratagems.
Yeah.
Background wise as well, it's expanded a little bit more, and it kind of keeps on coming out, and some of it comes across to me as like a little bit Bretonnian light, which is unfortunate at times, but it's still great because it's a different view of the Imperium. And the important thing with all these Imperial armies is we're getting kind of a different part of the picture of what the Imperium is. Like, so the Knight view is different from the Mechanicus view, which is different from the Space Marine view, which is different from the Guard view, and it kind of builds up to this bigger picture.
But like, isn't that important though, that we have something for the Imperium now that kind of represents that knight in shining armor trope?
Yeah.
Like even though you could say that about like Custodes or something like that, the knights truly embody like that sense of martial honor, which is something I think that like the Imperium, as grimdark as it is, kind of needs that little like light of hope almost.
Yeah. Right. It's the light in the grimdark, unless you're the assholes who live in the Night World. The night
which
world.
probably live better than most other like Imperial citizens, right?
Think about how good you'd
Probably.
sleep, right?
Yeah.
It'd be so good.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to come up. We're going to rant about something, and then we'll wrap it up.
Yep.
Dude, I'm the best. I took first place at another tournament.
First off, stop with the thunder and lightning. You don't impress
Okay.
me. And second, let me check out the BCP
You guys
rankings.
can sword fight.
And I don't see you on there.
You can go first, because I got to hit stop. I got news for you.
I don't sword fight with anybody.
We're a little drier this time, but it's still good.
Your TO needs to download the Best Coast Pairings app and run events on it. After the event, the results are uploaded into BCP rankings, and the best part, it's easy and free.
But I play multiple game system.
No big deal. The BCP app can be used for any game. A ton of events every weekend are using it, from major international tournaments to local stores. And now that it's available on Android devices, you're going to have some serious competition.
There can be only one.
BCP Rankings is a fun and exciting way to measure how you or your team stack
man,
up.
he had,
No matter what you play, your score goes to an overall ranking. Or compete
man,
to
I
be
have
the
to think
best
of
in a
something
game,
to plug.
a
Why
circuit,
did I not
a
think
region, or the world.
Download the app or visit www.
I'm sorry I came up with
bestcoastpairings.com for more info.
Best Coast Pairings.
Are you the best?
And we are back.
Yep.
We're just going to wrap it up real quick. We try and keep everything like super positive on this podcast, but I want to touch on a little bit of negativity.
Well, what do you have to say, John?
Well, I have so much to say.
Hold on, John. Let me put down this soapbox for you.
Oh, okay. Thank you. I put on some happy music. Hey, Warhammer Adventures, guys, is the new line from Games Workshop, aimed at kids aged 12 to 13, to kind of introduce them to the Warhammer universe. They have kind of like a little gang of kids going out and, getting together and defeating one Necron warrior and hoorah and all that other stuff. And apparently that means people can wish that the author dies of cancer.
Yeah.
And how it's fucking up the entire universe because people are writing stories for kids. If that's you, go fuck yourself. I mean, I don't want to, be overly harsh or critical, but, if people are writing stories to get other people entertained or into the Warhammer 40, like, okay, here's a prime example. We got two kids here. I have like a 13-year-old and an 8-year-old, right? Mm-hmm. This year, I'm like, man, my 13-year-old is finally old enough, and she's reading at a level where she can read False Gods and start kind of on that Horus Heresy kind of thing and kind of get it in there because I am like comfortable. Like she's a little goth kid. She knows about genocide, all that other stuff.
Right.
My 8-year-old, I cannot hand him a copy of, say, something like Shadow Sword and try and explain why, like, the Flesh Pleasure Palace and the incest that's in that. It's pretty fucked up. And, the galaxy's a huge place. There's going to be, like, little grimdark adventure or non-grimdark adventures. Like, GW described it as it's grimdark with a nightlight. They're taking it tongue-in-cheek. they're trying to again get kids interested, and the kind of the visceral hatred that's coming out because of this, they're making it think that like 9th edition Warhammer is going to be called Warhammer Adventures. And it's like a to hug roll instead of a to hit roll. It's not. You're trying to get the next generation entertained. So when my son sees me painting a model and comes up and he's like, "Hey, Dad, what you doing?" Like, "Oh, I'm painting a Space Marine." "What's a Space Marine do?" Let's read about it in this book. And
Right.
he kills a galaxy. And it's just an incredibly toxic attitude. And this whole idea of gatekeeping. You're not protecting your hobby. You're killing it slowly. And, we've seen this in other game systems where it's being gatekept so hard that people just don't play it anymore. And you and your like 3 buddies are super happy about it that it stayed the same, but your community is not going to grow.
Right.
Nothing's going to get any better. And you effectively killed your own community, so you didn't have to play anyone who wasn't your little bunch of friends.
Yeah, and guys, if you're out there and you are one of these people that are really angry about it, keep that anger to yourself.
Yeah.
Don't go threatening the author. I mean, the author is somebody that's getting the chance to write something that they believe in. And
Fuck, even if they don't believe in it, if you get hired as a job and you're like, "I just got my first job, I'm going to go make burgers at Burger King. I'm going to have it my way." That's so great. To have some random person go like, "I hope you fucking die. You're making Whoppers and that's fucking evil. Go get cancer." Like, dude, I was just paid to make Whoppers. I don't know what the hell you're going on about.
Right. And it's like John said, to kind of reiterate his point. This hobby needs an influx of new blood all the time, and that's the only thing that's going to keep the hobby alive. So alienating people that are potential new customers to the hobby is always bad, regardless of the avenue. So we want to try and be inclusive as possible with this hobby, and that includes like maybe having a different a different point of view or something like that appeals to a younger audience. I am totally down with that. I think that's amazing. And if it doesn't hurt you, then really why go through the trouble? Why go through the venom? There's no need for any of that.
I mean, if there was nobody new coming into the hobby from the time that I started until now, it would be long dead.
It would be a lonely place.
Danny and John were tickles in their dad's testicles when I started playing 40K.
Warhammer 40,000 wasn't even a game when Dave started role-playing.
Not as it is now,
Right.
no.
No, like Rogue Trader was just 2 words in the dictionary when Dave started playing. They hadn't even written a dictionary yet when Dave was young.
Yeah.
Just hieroglyphs.
Just hieroglyphs.
I would have read this shit
But we've said
out of these
before,
books.
like the 3 of us at this table have like 70 years in this hobby combined.
I have 50 of it.
And it was then 20 for Danny, and then I pretend, just for internet fame. But if it was just us 3 in our play group, then it would be like a really salty, miserable place. And you have to adjust your experience for others, because these games are fun when both people have fun. Like, if you can think of a game where you've played 40K and you have just raffle stomp destroyed your opponent, you did not have a fun game.
Nope.
Well, it depends.
No, you did not have a fun game. And I know you winked and but like, to be in all serious, this game is at its best where, like I say, when I played Danny last week, and it was 27-24, and it was super close, and it was like last minute moves and kind of making sure this happens, and like this had to go right, and that was fun because it was interactive. And then we go back to something like when I played Danny in, I think, 7th edition, when it was, I remember very like Tau versus Tyranids. And I ran my Tyranids, and that was not a fun game because I did not play well, and Danny just rolled the floor with me, and like turn 3 is like, sorry man. Like, if that's how you're finishing your games, that's not a fun experience for everyone. And I'm not saying in that situation you should have done anything differently, Danny. I'm just saying, like I said, it's you got to be open to people, and it's just people are like, go get cancer because you're writing about a group of kids in Warhammer.
God, who does that? That just boggles my mind. Like, why would you wish that? Even like, regardless of how you feel about the subject, like wishing that upon another person is just like such an awful, like stilted, trolly point of view. Like, it just boggles my mind why somebody would
even
feel
if
that
I
way.
know exactly, if I knew exactly who had said that, I wouldn't give them the credibility by mentioning them.
Sure.
I just don't. I think the Warhammer books are amazing. I have 2 3-year-old nephews, and one of them was sitting on my lap 2 Sundays ago while I painted the Knight Armiger, the Warglaive, and he was playing with some easy to build Space Marines, and we sat there afterwards after I was finished painting, and we played with them, and I was so excited that I might be able to take this probably going to be really jockey sports kid and turn him into a nerd for about 30
Oh,
seconds.
oh, you know what? That was last Sunday, right?
2 Sundays ago.
2 Sundays ago. You know what that had absolutely zero bearing on? The game of Warhammer I had at a completely different time in a completely different setting, because you're just enjoying your goddamn hobby, and who cares what you do?
Yep, exactly.
Oh man, I just had to get that out there. It frustrates me so. Just people like don't gatekeep. It's like, I know you put up, Dave, on our Facebook page there. The dry brushing is not a crime. We're gonna get another sticker that just says, "Don't gatekeep. Don't be that guy."
Yeah.
New people might be scary, but they're not scary for long. Like both everyone at the table here is part of a gaming club, I guess we could call it.
Yeah.
Like we have quote unquote competitive teams, but most likely they're just gaming clubs now.
Right.
Both of those clubs brought in quote unquote new people to kind of help them with their experience. We're not trying to kind of roll over everyone and do everything. We're trying to kind of make the community better, and that's what you should always try and do.
So to
Agreed.
sum up, don't be a dick on the internet.
Don't be a dick on the internet.
Okay?
Good luck.
Just say no. Yeah. I want to say, on top of that as well, what you put up on there on the Facebook, Dave. Dry brushing is not a crime, and paint shaming, no paint shaming.
Yeah, no paint shaming.
Because if they have paint on their models, they're already better than me.
Yeah.
But
I mean, not that you're a bad painter or anything. Just, I mean, you're
lazy.
constantly same.
Yeah,
right.
You both are completely different style players than I am. Whereas I build my list out and then I paint it completely before I play with it.
I really want to replay you with 2K, Dave. I'm just saying.
I'm gonna bring 2K and you're still gonna lose.
And that's fine.
And I want to just watch this fight.
Only if you sit there with popcorn cheering. You have also gonna need a foam finger.
I mean, I'm not really a cheerer, I would say, but I'm more of a heckler. I think that's probably a better.
Yeah. But yeah, man,
as long as you could be Waldor and Statler and Waldor for both of us. I mean, you have to heckle both ways. You can't.
Oh yeah. That would work. So hey,
anyway,
really quickly before we move on to things we want to plug this time, Dave, you have something that you want to do there.
Yeah,
I'm repurposing old music for this.
See that? We asked some questions about Ask Danny, right?
Because Danny is a top-ranked ITC player, top 50.
Okay,
he's top 3 in Chaos Demons.
Yeah, I think,
and top 50 ITC player.
And he's actually 35, so I'm really downgrading him. I'm just top 50.
We'll just call him top. We don't want to go to his head.
Yeah.
Too late.
So
he's a player.
So
I'm a player.
Knowing that we were going to have this segment, I asked for questions, and the questions were asked, and then Danny, who completely forgot we had this segment, answered every single one of them.
That's why he's top 50.
He's amazing.
I just wanted to help.
However,
I didn't read Dave's message all the way.
Not at all.
I was just like, hey, I'll be helpful. I'll just answer all of these questions.
Messages are like show notes where none of us actually read them.
Yeah, that's totally true. All right, so I got another one that you didn't answer.
Okay, good.
From Joe the Walrus. He says, I play primarily Chaos. Most of the other players in my area use at least one Imperial Knight or Baneblade, Storm, Shadow Sword. What is an auto include to help me beat them?
Just take a lot of dudes. I think Chaos right now really kind of works best with the Horde concept. So a lot of cultists are really good in that army. I think taking a ton of cultists plus Abaddon is really, really powerful, especially if you space them out properly so that the knight can't move over all of them and that kind of thing. That can be really, really powerful. But with Chaos, the best units in that book and the best units in that faction, like that overall super faction, are going to be things like cultists, plague bearers. Unfortunately, not Chaos Space Marines too much, which is really sad. I would like to see them better.
3 editions now where Chaos Space Marines haven't been the best choice.
Well, before it was the entire army, and now it's just that one particular choice. So that's a victory of sorts.
Okay.
If you're worried about fighting against things that like the big heavy hitters, then don't take things that they're good against, which are other big models. Just take a lot of small models. I think that's a pretty valid way to play and a pretty good way to kind of avoid having to deal with that stuff.
All right, so there you go, Joe the Walrus. That has been Ask Danny, your ITC superstar. That's all I've got.
All right, yeah, that's good.
That's
good. So things we want to plug.
Thanks, Joe.
Yeah, that's a great question. Because like I said, Chaos is in kind of a unique spot right now where they're not necessarily terrible. There's a lot of stuff that they can do well. But, it's kind of the codex creep is, I think, really more subtly happened this time.
For sure. I think that a lot of that stuff is going to get revisited when Chapter Approved comes out.
Chapter Approved this year is going to be
It's going to be the biggest one. Like, it's going to be so important.
It's going to be like,
because it should include everybody.
it's going to be like its own special.
Hopefully.
Well, it comes out in December, and all the codexes technically are supposed to be released by then.
Yeah, I worry because I haven't seen Gene Stealer Cult anywhere on the horizon.
And I think that's
Yeah, but they did that model.
They did do the preview model, which was rad. He had a signpost.
Stop sign.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
I don't need a new army. I don't need a new army.
So we just
yeah.
I guess let's end it with
Let's plug some things.
yeah,
I want to plug Ray Dranfield's Twitter. Ray Dranfield, GW employee extraordinaire. He designed like literally all of the scenery pieces you see.
Yep.
And
That's
all
awesome.
of the cool things I've learned you can do with that scenery, I got it off of his Twitter feed when he's like, "Hey man, remember this pipe that we released 14 years ago? Yeah, it fits right into the scenery piece we just released."
That's so cool.
And it kind of shows like all the different cool things you can do. Like he showed how in like the Sector Imperialis terrain, like the the really old school ones.
Yeah.
There's like one little pipe circle there that is
Yep.
like the perfect height for the pipes to attach to.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that's cool.
All of this really cool stuff in there. He's like super receptive, replies to all your stuff.
Yeah.
It's a great follow. So
Man, I gotta follow that.
Dranfield.
I'll link him to you
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
since you're just getting on there. Danny, what about you? What do you got? Anything?
So what I wanted to plug today was Quartermaster. So Quartermaster is an army building software that I've talked about a little bit in the past. I believe that there's a small fee for download for it, but the way that it outputs army lists is really easy to read. And I've had a lot of judges comment when I bring up my army list to a tournament or something like that, like how easy it is for them to see exactly what's in my list in a short consolidated format. It has the initial download for the program, and then like any other open source kind of army builder software, you have to download the army files individually. And so they upload those. You can also get a professional version where you can make changes to those files, which is really nice. I like being able to update them because sometimes they aren't the fastest in updating. Like for a new army file, it sometimes takes about a month for them to get a new army book, a file for that army book, which is fine. And then like so like I can go through with the professional version and go ahead and change like the points values and stuff like that for things that I need to in there, so that they display correctly according to the new points.
Awesome.
Nice. Dave, what you got?
And I want to give a shout out to Mini Stomp. He is a U.S.-based online retailer for Games Workshop. He offers a standard discount just the same as Frontline Gaming and other stores, the retailers, with very reasonable shipping. And he also will get you Forge World stuff.
Oh, nice.
He will help you get Forge World stuff.
That's awesome.
And you can find him at ministomp.com. That's literally it. It's a very simple website. You just send him an email of what you're looking for, and he'll set you up.
And
cool.
You know something? Like I got my Footdar army for LVO off of Ministomp, and the reason I did is because he offered a better discount on GW Direct stuff.
Oh, cool.
Like
okay.
15% or something like
And
that.
if you're
10%.
following him on Twitter,
He has a bunch of, like, really-
he's always doing deals. He's doing he calls them spicy deals, where he'll just
Well, that sounds spicy.
it does.
It's 'cause
He
it
just I mean, like where he combines a bunch of stuff. For a little while there, he did army lists for people.
Oh, cool.
Where he would say, "I'll build you an army for this much money," and they said, "Okay." And
And
send
it was
me this.
$1,000, and it was a really shitty org list.
It was 4,200 orc models at $1,000 though.
That's a lot.
But I mean,
So it was spicy.
I know for a fact that some of our listeners
Because he discounted
have done
the
Muy caliente.
he discounted the models, but not the paint that you need.
Yeah. He's just got a bunch of really cool deals, and you guys should check him out. And then to wrap it up, I think we owe you guys a thank you.
Oh,
all of
yeah.
our listeners, all of our listeners.
All of our listeners.
We hit 500 likes on Facebook, and while that that's not anything compared to like independent characters or
We don't have a Facebook
Right.
group or anything like that. But yeah, I want to thank everyone who's liked the page. And honestly, the continued support. What I was talking to Dave and Danny about while we were on break there is what I super appreciate right now is we're getting a ton of really good feedback.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, even something dumb like someone saying they'd rather listen to fart noises than one of our quote unquote comedy commercials. I mean, shit, I just played fart noises. Everyone's happy. Any feedback
not
from me?
everyone. It's probably someone who's fart noises.
Probably
It's
the
a
guy's
vomit-
like,
it's
God
a-
damn it, that's not what I meant.
I was insulted by those fart noises.
What if you were like a guy that if you hear fart noises, it just causes diarrhea? Like when you hear somebody herking and it makes you vomit.
Oh, I
Like
would just
that
release a 2-hour
just-
podcast of fart noises if there was
Just,
a guy.
can you imagine
Name it after that guy.
our one listener who's just sitting there like, oh, I'm really enjoying this episode. I can't wait for nights. Oh, is that fart noises? Oh, God.
But like I said, I really appreciate kind of the communication we're
Shitting
getting from you
himself in his
guys.
car.
Yeah.
I really appreciate the feedback we're getting from you guys, and kind of just generally the interaction has been really good this past couple of months. So I want to thank everyone for that there, for taking the time to, Jesus Christ, message 3 assholes in Alaska.
Yeah, for
who,
sure.
Who talk really shittily about Warhammer. I think someone said it best where we
There's only 2 of us that talk really shittily about Warhammer.
talk
Danny
for-
talks really well about it, actually.
talk for a long
No.
time, but we bring them down. It's law of averages. Talk for a long time and say nothing.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
that's all I've got. So you guys all good? Danny? Anything else you wanna add there?
I'm great.
Dave, nothing else you want to add there? I'm going to
No, I'm
add
good.
in here so that we all are on board. Next episode, we're going to be talking about a very recent release from the Black Library.
Oh, yeah.
From the very recent year of 2001.
So like just yesterday.
So
Just before I graduated high school.
Before most of our listeners were born. We're going to be talking about Dan Abnett's kind of classic novel, Eisenhorn Xenos. And what will hopefully be kind of a general talk about the series in general over the next few months.
Yep.
But very excited about it. Dave and I, we know points from it, never actually read it. So we're going to read that, and that's available online in ebook through Black Library. I'm very excited to spend money on the audiobook version.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Which clocks in around 9 hours, 42 minutes.
Totally
So I'm
doing
like,
that
"Woo,
myself.
Let's go do it." Yeah.
I don't know that I actually have time to read it with all the stuff I have to get painted.
But there you go. So we can all listen to it. So yeah, next time in 2 weeks, we're going to be talking about, Eisenhorn.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks everyone for listening. So for Mob Rules, I've been John.
I've been Dave.
I've been Danny.
And we'll see you next time.